188 previous weeks, we've been slamming frosty beverages during the middle of the road show. That's kind of what we do. We sit down, have a frosty beverage, and talk about some mixed martial arts. Never before do I remember spilling a frosty beverage on our equipment. I just, maybe it's happened. I'm not gonna lie. There's some shows I don't remember much of, if anything. But I definitely don't remember spilling any equipment on our frosty beverage. But just as I was about to hit record, boom! Knocked over my coffee all over the desk here where I'm working. Anyway, that's how the night got started. Proof that, to hell with the coffee, just keep drinking the frosty beverages, right? That was my problem. I broke protocol, and I got punished for it. So, a little fat tire, here we go.
What up, everybody? Welcome back to yet another Sound of Violence podcast. We are an MMA podcast that each week talks about the shows you should catch, skip, and can't miss in the MMA world. I am Pulver, and I'm here with my co-host, Chris Madaffer. What up, dude?
I mean, it would be... You could whip some of the fights, maybe.
You could. There's definitely a couple podcasts I wouldn't mind whipping this week.
You can definitely do it figuratively speaking, but yeah, I'm good, man. Just been the whole usual work stuff, been just improving my knowledge behind the bar, and trying to get myself promoted.
There you go. Fuck yeah. Hey, hard to hate on bar knowledge, especially on our show.
Yeah. Basically, yeah, just been drinking more cocktails, just more spirits, I should say, really. Just, really getting that palate. Like, me and you already have a really good beer palate. You definitely probably have more of of kind of like an experienced spirits palate more than I do, but I've been
drinking them for a bit.
Yeah. But, definitely trying to become more of a spirits guy, lately, and it's fun.
Nice.
I like it.
Well, shouts out to Larceny Bourbon, which I haven't had. I should have had some, but I was drinking that yesterday, which I'll talk about in a bit, but it's delicious. It's like $25 a bottle. It's super good.
Yeah, I'm going to have to pick myself up a bottle.
Yeah. Fuck Conor McGregor's garbage whiskey. Pick yourself up a bottle of Larceny Bourbon. It is delicious. Anyway, I guess we should jump into our totally real, super not fake Doug Stanhope, or Papa Vodka. I do it every time. Papa Vodka presents, Doug Stanhope presents our sponsors. What are you drinking on this week?
So, I am drinking a beer. I am drinking Two Hearted Ale from Bell's.
Hey.
A very good American IPA.
Nice. Bell's is legit.
Yeah, it's definitely one of my favorite IPAs to drink. I love the aroma is good. It's brewed with 100% Centennial hops, and it's named after the majestic Two-Hearted River in Michigan's Upper Peninsula.
Yeah, that's a really solid pale ale.
Pine and grapefruit.
Yeah, that's exactly. It's like an old school IPA. It's not all tropical and shit, which I guess that leads me in well, because I am drinking from Toppling Goliath, Pseudo Sue, the hella fucking hoppy... I believe it is definitely it says pale ale, but it's definitely a pale hazy, because this shit it looks like a milkshake, but it's very good, so I am definitely not mad at it.
Yeah, that makes me think I wouldn't be surprised if there's a milkshake someone has made where they just pour a fucking beer in it and just call it a milkshake.
Oh, Stone has those. Everyone has those.
Oh, wait, you know what?
I mean, most of the time they're more referred to as floats, but yeah.
Yeah, no,
Same
I remember
thing,
Modern Times does one with their Black House Stout. They blend it with, They blend it, I think, with like a horchata vodka or something, or some other
something
alcohol.
like that.
But yeah, I've never tried. I remember my brother said he had one time when one of his restaurant jobs had a tour. They said it was actually really delicious. So,
I don't doubt it. I love the stuff from Modern Times. So,
God, yeah, I need to go back there soon.
Same.
I haven't been there in a while.
Yeah,
dude,
I think the last time I went,
games. We should go to a goals game and just pregame there, man.
Right.
That's usually what I do.
Yeah, well, we pregame there for that UFC card, the last UFC card in San Diego.
Yep, you're goddamn right. Fuck.
That was the way to do that.
If only the sports arena wasn't so old. I
Old
guess
and
the UFC
small.
just figured we could just go to the Honda Center in Anaheim. That's like as far as south down. Orange County basically is as far south. I guess they want to go down to California. But
Yeah, well, that and San Diego is not a draw when it comes to
No.
events. Like, they paper the shit out of Bellators at the casino out here. I think they always go to Pachanga, right?
Yeah, which is
East County?
in Temecula.
Yeah,
No, it's a
northeast?
little bit of. Yeah, I think it's near Temecula. Or no, it's right underneath Temecula.
Yeah, I think it's like 40 minutes to an hour from my place out in Santee. So.
Yeah, it's a little past Escondido, actually. I remember that now. 'Cause
Yeah.
I'd been there before. But,
Cool, man. Well, we are not a regional drinking podcast, despite our best efforts. So why don't we jump into format? Why don't you start us off with the MMA podcast you recommend people catching this week?
so my first, or I should just say the catch, I think I have another one. Yeah, I have another, but I'll just do this one first. Believe You Me. I can't remember. I think it was the one he recorded on Monday, because I think he does
Right.
one on Monday and then one on Thursday?
Yeah, I
Or
think
Wednesday?
that's right. It's the one, where is it? I know exactly what you're talking about. I think it's 94, where they talk Ryzen.
Yes.
And they recap 230?
And Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah.
Um,
And Bisping calls him Tenshin Yakanama Mama.
Yeah. So the first 33 minutes are not really fight talk, but what is funny is the thing I like about this podcast in general, and it's definitely a lot of help with Lewis.
You like that Lewis
Lewis's
uses
witty
a J in
comments.
his name every time, and he gets
And-
angry if you don't?
Oh yeah, doesn't he spell his name like Luis too, which makes it more confusing? So you motherfucker. Put
And
an
he's
O in
Puerto
front.
Rican.
Yeah, but anyways, yeah, Bisping talks about that his dog, who hasn't been neutered, has been jizzing everywhere, all over his house.
Oh, I forgot
So
about
that
that.
Because I think they addressed that in an earlier podcast before.
And Lewis has like 6 callbacks to it in this episode.
Yeah, he says, yeah, you need to just let your dog just go to town on like your wife's leg or something ridiculous or some shit, and then go ahead and snip him. It's like, Jesus.
Yep, that all checks out as the Lewis comment.
So the one thing I thought was interesting, real quick before I get to their fight talk, there was a viral video that is now viral of a teacher in a middle school in South Central LA, something like that, somewhere in Los Angeles, where he assaulted a student, basically because the student. And I went to an article, and remember I've told you about episodic framing, what some journalist news outlets do. They leave out key information to, So the article I read is they basically said the student who was Mexican, and the only reason why this matters, I'm saying that, is because the teacher was black. He called him the
Chris,
N-word.
Oh, okay, never mind. I was going to say, black people are allowed to be teachers. Doesn't
No,
matter.
no.
that-
No. That's
no.
why I said student first.
I'm well
but
aware,
But yeah. Anyways, because honestly, when I saw the article and it says black teacher assault student, I was like, oh, the student's clearly some dumbass white kid who said the N-word. Anyways, it was a Mexican kid. He didn't say it with the hard ER. Either way, it's just in whether it's hip hop culture. Yeah, whether it's hip hop culture or just kind of street culture, kids saying that growing up. Either way, the kid was a punk. The teacher started wailing on him. But what they left out in the fucking article is that the kid threw a basketball at him. And, I mean, why would you throw a basketball at your teacher? And
Who
it
brings
was
the
a fucking
basketball around?
And it was a music class. And that ties in with
no wonder he tried to fight a music teacher. I have had multiple guitar and music teachers that I'm like, dude, you need to watch your
they're
tone 'cause
cynical
I
as
can
fuck.
you up.
Yeah, they're basically just like, oh, you like this music, Lil Johnny? Well, fuck you. You need to listen to this. Anyways, that's all I want to say about that. But yeah, that kid sounds like he definitely needed to get an ass beating, and apparently there is a GoFundMe for this teacher, so good on him. I don't advocate beating up middle schoolers because you're a grown-ass man. You shouldn't have to do that. Restrain
No,
yourself.
definitely don't fight children. That's
Yeah, no.
always a good
Yeah. No,
plan of
don't get me
action.
wrong. The teacher is a fucking moron. You should never hit a kid. Like, what the fuck is your problem? But either the kid is a little punk. Yeah, but I saw the video. The teacher was throwing hands on his kid. Like, dude, this guy is fucking insane. Like,
Yeah, he
he's
definitely
fighting an
was going a
adult.
little
So,
wild.
Yeah, he was jailed, but the stupid part is that people have a GoFundMe like, oh, this teacher is brave. Like, what? So, yeah, it was insane. It's so fucked. Yeah. So, anyways, they go ahead and talk about last week's event. They talk about Floyd Mayweather and the Ryzen fight that was gonna happen. Not really. Probably, and I know we've seen all the jokes. Oh, Floyd, didn't realize, after, he didn't have that much money because yen doesn't convert well to American dollars. That whole joke he keeps saying.
That or like, oh, he didn't Google tension.
Yeah, or he didn't read the fine print. Whatever.
Oh, because he get it because he can't read.
Yeah.
You guys get it?
Hard.
Yeah, there was a lot of that joke this week. And to be fair, no one really believed. I mean, no one thought that fight was 100% going to happen. Or if it did, it would have been a crazy, dumb exhibition boxing match.
Yeah. Lots of praise for Israel Adesanya, who is already a star now, or he's established himself as a star. We'll get more into that later. Lewis says if he's ever going to be cucked by any large black man, he would want it to be Adesanya.
So then he can at least make good jokes at Lewis while he's banging Kim Congdon.
Yep, that
sorry,
checks
poor
out.
Kim Congdon, who's very nice, by the way. If you guys ever see Kim Congdon, the comedian, definitely say what's up to her because she's a sweetheart.
They said Israel seems about a win away from a title shot. I mean, at this point, probably, especially if they match him up against Jacare, I guess.
I mean, yeah.
Or
that's what everybody's pulling for the Jacare one.
They talked about how great of a fight Jacare versus Weidman was. Does Weidman go up to 205? Mike going back to the Floyd tension talk. Mike says he always wanted to fight in Japan. Never got the opportunity to fight there, and he still hasn't been there. He wants to though, because Japanese food is one of his favorite foods.
Yep.
So there's Mike.
Sure checks out.
Yep, and then they ended the last couple stuff I wrote down is they said Darren Till should headline UFC London in March. So that's what I had for
that's a given, but he should have gotten wrestle fucked by Ben Askren in UFC London in March. Could you imagine that post-fight interview?
Yeah, but I think the UFC kind of was like,
well, yeah, they love Darren Till.
They're
so.
like, yeah, and they're like, well, Askren is Woodley's coach, so how good is Askren's wrestling been? Yeah, no.
Yeah, exactly. And did you see him fucking, what did he, DDT? No, he didn't DDT CM Punk. He hit something on CM Punk. Stone Cold Stunner, maybe?
Are you talking about like in training videos?
Yeah, in a training video. He hits it on him. It's hilarious.
Oh, no, I gotta check that out.
Yeah, I'll send that to you on the break. It's very funny. And CM Punk looks humiliated and Ben Askren is cackling.
Well, that's... I mean, just call it light grappling practice.
I mean, yeah, it's light work for Ben Askren.
He knows what he's getting himself into. In any sense, dude, he's just learning from a fucking fantastic wrestler. So
yeah,
it really shouldn't matter.
If you're gonna learn from somebody, that's who you learn from. But it's hilarious when that person also clowns you and puts it on the internet.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so how about you?
So for my catch this week, I had the CoMain Event Podcast, episode 329. Just fantastic in general. First off, have you seen they're selling the Cowboy Astronaut cigarettes shirts? Sir Nigel's super real advertisement, super real, totally not fake advertiser. Cowboy Astronaut cigarettes, right?
Yes,
which are not for kids.
Yeah.
So they're selling shirts of that, by the way.
Okay.
They're actually very dope. And so it opens with an ad for that, which is hilarious. Here, I'll send you a picture of it right now. They did mention that they're doing 2 episodes a week now because of for patrons on Patreon. So they're doing the Patreon Power Hour, which drops on Thursday this week, which is pretty dope. And the episode's fun. They just go over stuff like DC's legacy, tension versus Floyd, and how there's no bout agreement signed, which they did point out, and a bunch of other people did too. They talk about the career soap opera of Sajara Eubanks, as they put it, and DC being the daddest man on the planet by injuring his back via sneezing, which they had a very funny newsletter about today. And then
Did they say the baddest man or the daddest man?
oh, they always call him the daddest man.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's because that makes
Oh, did
a
I
lot
say
of sense.
baddest? Yeah, definitely.
No,
daddest.
you said daddest. That's why I was asking you. That's why I heard you say daddest. That's why I was clarifying that.
Oh, for
I was
sure.
hoping that's what you said. Yeah, that's great.
That's the link for the cowboy astronaut cigarettes thing. It's hilarious. And then to end the episode, they had Sir Nigel back on with the theme of legalize it, which, as you can expect, is a lot of Conor McGregor talking about Mike Tyson's Kush and other weed-related tweets, like Elias Theodoro and stuff. It's a really good episode.
I heard about that. What's the context behind that? Was it just McGregor was smoking with Tyson?
Yeah, he posted on his Instagram, like, smoking that shit, that well, I forget what he called it. Something dumb, like that fresh picked cherry Kush from Tyson or whatever. I'll pull it up.
I thought you were saying something goofy, like smoking that fresh Chiba or some shit, or just some goofy ass.
He called it something weird.
jargon.
Like, he called it something weird. I just can't remember exactly how he phrased it, because he always phrases shit weird, especially as of late. Let's see. It's some.
Ooh, that is a really cool fucking t-shirt.
Yeah, that's really good, right? I'm definitely gonna pick one of those up. But yeah, so he posted some giggle off that cherry pick Kush. See what I mean?
Yeah.
Also, I think just about everybody talked about Conor's racist ass Jackie Chan comparison to Tension and Floyd, right?
Yeah, I did. I like Tension's response.
Yeah.
I'm not Jackie Chan. I'm gonna. avenge your boss."
Yeah, I'll avenge it for you.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's kind of the only way you can really reply.
Oh, and Tension's funny. Like, low key, that dude is real sharp.
Yeah, that reminds me. I've seen just a couple of highlights. But holy fuck! That how old is he, by the way? Like
24, I think.
24. Yeah, I was gonna say 25, but he looks so fucking. He just looks like a vet. He's got to have what, like 30 fights probably.
Oh, more than that. Well, it depends. So, but I believe between kickboxing and MMA is a ton. So he had a bunch of kickboxing fights, and then I think he has like 7 or 10 MMA fights. Here, I'll pull it up. But yeah, no, Tension's been looking fantastic. His MMA fights have not been against the highest quality of opponent, shouts to Ryzen. But he has definitely. I mean, he fought Kyoji Horiguchi in a kickboxing fight, which was ridiculous. He's 4-0 in MMA, and he is. Oh God, why would you not just show the record? Oh, 27-0 in kickboxing.
Oh shit, he's on. Oh yeah, because that was the whole. That's what made the fight exciting or intriguing to undefeated guys, right?
Right, and like also Kyoji's just been killing it in Ryzen anyway, but a lot of Tension's fights are in Japanese kickboxing promotions, which there some of those matchups. Go back and take a look at some of those first round knockout matchups. Because there's a couple of them where you're like, bro, really? Come on, knockout. There's some interesting stuff. But anyway, yeah, that fight was never going to happen. Although, I feel like since it was Japan, that's the kind of shit where they might just tell Tension, like, oh, by the way, this is a kickboxing fight, and just tell Floyd it's a boxing match. So, probably smart for that dude to pull out.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only thing I could think of really is why that didn't happen is because he's like, oh well, they don't want special rules and fuck it.
Well, and they were never gonna pay him what he's worth, and yeah, I guarantee they had some sketchy conversations through a translator that like Floyd was like, I'll show up at a press conference and see what's up with this, and then shit did not go well after that. Because during the interviews with Floyd at the press conference, you could tell he's like, I think there's something missing in translation or something here. Then he posted his misty ass response on Instagram. Anyway, so you said you had a second catch?
Yeah, it's pretty quick. This one was from Care Don't Care. Bloody Elbow presents Care Don't Care. I know.
Fun episode.
Yeah, I like this one.
Vic Rodriguez filled in for Kid Nate.
Yeah, I remember if it's not Kid Nate or John Nash, it was Rodriguez. I couldn't remember his first name, but he probably said it. I probably just skipped it.
Vic.
Right? Yeah. They talked about it's supposed to be the 25th anniversary show in regards to UFC Denver this Saturday or tomorrow, as you and I are recording right now.
Yep. Shouts out to the bare knuckle card that's happening in the background as we're recording this.
Yeah, I tried to find a way to watch that, but it didn't happen for me. I'll put it that way. Anyways,
I definitely don't have it on in the background while we're doing this. I definitely don't.
So they said it's supposed to be the 25th anniversary show, but it seems like a card full of tough scraps, like just leftovers. And you and I just hearing that know what the fuck they're talking about. Only a few cares from Vic and Eugene. They discuss Jermaine Durandamy, or how did Vic say it? Durandamy, or was that Eugene? I was laughing the whole time. They just kept saying it all like that.
I think it's Eugene that always says Durandamy, which, to be fair,
yeah,
he knows and has trained with Jermaine, so he might actually, and has done an
Maybe
article
he's right.
on her, I
yeah,
think.
he's
so
probably
he might
right.
Be right. Because, white people be mispronouncing shit.
Yeah, unless you're, like, culturally white.
Yeah.
Never mind, I was going to make it... I'm not going to make that joke. Anyways, I like this. They said Mike Perry is a bionic redneck who takes a lot of damage. They talked about how he is 1% black, of course.
Yeah.
Eugene had a pretty good take on that. I think it's mostly like, I don't give a fuck. I think the guy's a moron, but he's funny.
Yeah, I believe I think the sentence he started after Vic asked for a response on it was just something along the lines of, well, you don't have to be smart to be my friend.
Yeah, that's what he said, yeah.
I believe it was something along those lines.
They both think if Cowboy is technical enough, he can possibly finish Mike Perry, but they don't have much confidence in Cowboy's ability to take shots from true welterweights like Perry, like the big stocky guys. And kind of like a preview that kind of worries me too, but we'll get into that into our preview segment. However, they are both picking Cowboy based on experience and more of his versatility in strikes and kicking.
Yeah, I mean,
and movement.
Yeah, we'll get into it later, but
so that's all I had for Care or Don't Care. Did you have any more comments on that particular episode?
Not specifically. It was a lot of fun. I really enjoy. I mean, I think Eugene had like 3 or 4 cares, and Vic had 11 or 12 of 13 because that was when Borg was still on the card. So, it's always fun seeing someone who's not Kid Nate and Eugene do that show, since it's rarely a thing where essentially everyone else cares about fights unless it's Eugene or Nate, and then they're like, man, I'm jaded as shit. I don't know half these people's names. I have done zero research. So it's a lot of fun.
Oh yeah.
Cool, man. Well, do you want to go ahead and get into the show you recommend skipping this week? Speaking of Eugene S. Robinson, I should mention, just because we say to skip your show does not mean we think your show is not good. Just means that this week your show was not worth the time it took to listen to.
So for me, it's a half skip on this show. I'm referring to Chael Sonnen's You're Welcome. The reason why I consider it a half skip is it's a half skip because I think he had some good insight on it, but he mostly talked about Floyd.
Yep.
And that he's done things for publicity, but he's never announced a fight that he wasn't going to do. And that was a good point that he brought up.
Technically, he didn't announce a fight that he wasn't going to do. He announced a fight that he didn't know he was agreeing to. It's like one of those things where you're like, eh.
Yeah.
But, yeah, no, still, decent point, though.
Yeah, Chael was basically this whole time just saying Floyd embarrassed himself in the sense that this would have been huge for his image, in that not only is it, you're bringing a boxer into mixed martial arts or even kickboxing, it still becomes mixed martial arts because it's 2 different fighting styles fighting each other. He fights in Asia, and that's just good for combat sports in general, regardless of Floyd's age and his ability to defend or counter any sort of leg kicks or going up against kickboxer. He said Floyd was on camera saying he agreed to the fight, and he says that Floyd shouldn't be able to blame it on miscommunication and pull out of said fight.
Chael is just one of those old school dudes, though, that's just thinks everybody has to do everything because otherwise
because
not
you're
a
on
man.
film.
Yeah,
It's just like, dude, people say shit all the time when they're being filmed. Doesn't necessarily mean that they mean that.
Shouts to Dana White.
Yeah, I mean, just go look at any thread in Reddit and RMMA, and every comment, one of the top comments will be, "Don't believe his lies." Or else Dana will say one thing, like if he said Ben Askren is never gonna fight in the UFC, like, oh, Ben Askren confirmed, to fight in the UFC, anything like that.
Yep. Hey, that's the reason why Dana White hated fucking Jeff Sherwood, is because he posted a picture of Ben Askren saying he's the next big thing, and Dana White got super pissed at him. Which is like the most classic petty bullshit.
He discussed more Floyd versus Conor to get a better gauge on Floyd's future career, and he says he thinks Floyd figured, I can just fight an unknown MMA guy, an unknown to the public, to the general audience who are unfamiliar with MMA. I'll be honest, I am not the biggest kickboxing purist. I won't go out of my way to watch kickboxing, and I did not know who Tenshin Nasukawa was.
Really?
No.
Wow. I've been fucking up then. We need to start covering more Ryzen, because Tenshin dope as hell. And I swear we've talked about him before.
Oh, I'm sure we have. He looked pretty familiar, honestly, when I looked at him. Like,
I'm sure we talked about the Kyoji
name
fight at some point.
Yeah. I'm sure. And when I looked at highlights, I was impressed.
Yeah, he's dope.
I think it was just the name that I just didn't recognize.
Understandably.
Then Chael ended his podcast discussing Daniel Cormier and the current landscape and outlook of the heavyweight division. Is there still a road to a championship for Stipe? He thinks there is, just not one where DC fights him.
Yeah.
Again. And unfortunately, I believe that's true as well. So that was my half skip. It wasn't bad by Chael. It was just a lot of Floyd talk, and honestly, most podcasts talked about this whole Floyd.
It was on every one of them, and a lot. That's why you don't put out a podcast on Mondays, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Because Monday and Tuesday, a whole bunch of news came out, and then the rest of the week, it was proven not that legit. Which I still don't know what to make of the flyweight news. They're fucking trying to book. The theory is they're booking Cejudo versus TJ at 125 so they can seal the division afterwards. But
I'm not really mad at that.
I'm not either, since I picked up Cejudo in fantasy.
See, you're smart because it's at 125. If it was at 135, like I thought it'd be,
that's why I dropped it, because I figured it was at 35.
I have Dillashaw, who obviously I'm still gonna fucking play.
It's basically a weight cut play.
Yeah, I'm kind of nervous about that though, just because he's cutting weight. But either way, we'll see. I'm looking forward to that fight now. And I think I've said this before. 135 didn't give a shit. 125, fuck yeah, why not? So
100%. Cool, man. Yeah, Chael Show I like a lot, but the podcast one's fucking ad structure on that show is ridiculous.
It's like more Rob Riggle and all these other people.
Also, that's on Chael, evidently, because there's a couple other podcast one shows I listened to this week, none of which actually had that many ad breaks. So it's got to be on Chael.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Because I'll talk about it in a bit, but anyway, yeah, definitely frustrating with that show. Not to mention, Chael sometimes will just get stuck on a topic and circle back on how he's right over and over again, and then just ask his producer, am I wrong?
Yeah.
So anyway, my skip for this week is the Helwani show, the Ariel Helwani show.
What was the ridiculous thing that he said this time?
I'm gonna tell you the truth. I didn't listen to anything other than the Ali interview and he needs to stop giving Ali a platform. That's why I'm making a skip this week.
Well, I agree with you 100%.
He had Ali in studio for about an hour. It made everybody look bad. Ariel was whining about Ali threatening journalists. Ariel was also complicit within the same interview in schmoozing Ali and
So
saying,
basically, he cucked himself.
Side.
He cucked himself to
Well,
Ali.
I mean, it's Ariel. It's kind of what he does. But it's awful. He asked why Ali doesn't at all respond to the accusations about him being a terrorist and using other people's information.
Wait, he asked
Oh
Ali
yeah,
that?
he asked
Okay,
it, and Ali gave the same answer he always does, which is I don't get. I don't have to. I don't know why I made him like Indian. I don't know. But Ali just says over and over again.
My friend, I do not care.
Yeah, he literally says over and over again, like, oh, so I don't give a shit if people are talking shit about me. And then in the next sentence, he's like, fuck that dude for talking shit about me. That's personal. I want to fight Conor McGregor. If I see him, I'll punch him in the face. Like, it's just the dumbest shit.
Yeah, I mean, I would never want to see that fight. I'd want to see Conor slap the fuck out of him while saying, "Where's Noah?" That's about it.
Yeah, to be fair, I would love to see Ali versus Conor. It would be so fun, but that's mostly because I can't believe they give that dude a platform. At the end, Ariel kisses and makes up because Ali was pissed at him for the last month. And now, I don't know, they're BFFs again, I guess. And so hopefully he'll be on the show every week and Ariel can
They're just BFFs because he's the manager of a lot of really fucking famous fighters. So
100%. And Ariel literally says, like, oh, why do you always threaten interviewers? Over and over again, never gets an answer, and then still schmoozes at the end. You're like, dude. I don't know. It's the worst. So, yeah, don't fucking listen to that show. Not that anybody really is, as far as I can tell. That show's fallen off a goddamn cliff from what I haven't heard. You hear people talking about the articles written off of it. You don't hear people talk about actually listening to that show. They just hear clips. And they're like, oh, I saw Ali on YouTube.
There's still there are a lot of subscribers, correct me if I'm wrong, to ESPN Plus. But the main reason
for sure,
I believe,
but I don't think
the
it's
main
because
reason
of
people...
Ariel.
No, not at all. It's for fucking NBA.
Yeah.
And I think college football's on there.
And a little bit of boxing.
Yeah.
If I remember right.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah. That's my skip this week. He used to be so decent at his job. And he's gotten so bad at what I think his job should be. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe I think of him as an actual journalist and not just a clickbait talking head, but that's probably on me, not on him, right? Perfect response as a dude who has a journalism degree.
Yeah.
All right, let's move it on. What show do you recommend people? What MMA podcast do you recommend people can't miss this week, Chris?
So for me, it's going to be Heavy Hands. I really liked the way they described the main event from 2:30 was just pretty simple. Not in a bad sense. It was simply put, but it was put in simple terms for everyone to understand. But they got to the point quickly, is what I should say.
Right.
Said Cormier only needed single legs, mat returns, and a nice ankle pick to basically coast to an easy win.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't ever really in danger. I think he got clipped a little bit by an overhand, but it was a glancing shot.
There was a couple. He got clipped once, and then he got clipped again with a weird fucking Derek Lewis spazzy hammer fist standing.
I remember too, seeing DC. He was like, "Holy fuck!" When he got kind of clipped by it, you can tell he's like, "Yeah, I don't want to get hit clean by this shit. Holy shit."
Yeah.
Could Lewis knock him out? Fuck yeah, he could, dude.
Speaking of which, we'll do a quick 10 minutes in the second for just how dope Daniel Cormier is, and because that 2:30 card was pretty good.
Yeah, I unfortunately I worked late, so I got home, bought the pay-per-view because Trevor watched it with me along with one of our special podcast friends, G6.
Oh, yeah. Trevor hit me up, but I didn't catch his text until way later.
So I got to watch basically just the main card, but it was a very entertaining card.
Yeah.
We all enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was dope. Maybe we'll do a quick recap on the second segment.
So yeah, there's that. Phil thinks one of the most physically punishing fights that he's seen at 185 since the Whitaker Romero fights was Jacare versus Weidman. He loved that fight.
Oh, for sure. He made the dopest point too, which I bet you're about to get to.
He said Weidman's striking has improved quite a bit, but the footwork still needs work. But no, what was the point then that
he pointed out that Jacare kept throwing that lead hand liver shot and the overhand, which essentially is just like throwing gator chomps the entire fight.
Oh yeah, because it's just your low left and then your right coming on top of the other.
If you connect the two, it's basically the same chopping thing he always does after fights. So I thought that was a hilarious thing he pointed out. That is a funny point. They said it's crazy that Israel Adesanya's fights have gotten easier the more he fights higher-ranked opponents. That's a weird irony. Yeah, well, it shows how fucking hard that dude is working. Also, when I heard he's a break dancer as well, I'm like, oh shit, no wonder he's getting good at grappling quick.
Yeah, dude, I was so impressed with those sprawls, and like you said, we'll get into it quickly. They said Lando Venata, his defense is his offense. He doesn't really know how to defend well, and that's been his main fallout. Or just,
I mean, he's always eating shots, but it's not getting better.
He's always an entertaining fight.
He's a fun as hell fight. That's why I'm surprised they cut him.
Oh, is
Pardon
he officially?
Me as I grab weed.
Is he officially cut? Because I remember he left Jackson Wink.
Right. I think I saw on Twitter this week that he said he was cut.
I think you're right. Okay. They said what they like about this upcoming card, which is tomorrow at the time that we're recording this, which is Friday. There aren't any fights that are heavier than 170 pounds, and it's good for the little guys. The only thing I wrote down about the main event is the Korean Zombie likes to shamble, which could give Rodriguez opportunities to set up his shots. So look for some shambling.
That's right.
Jan Sung Jung. So.
Oh, you missed the best joke of the week, which was on this podcast.
So what did I miss?
There's a fighter this weekend fighting with the nickname The Future, which is not a bad nickname unless your last name is a profession. So Macy the Future Barber doesn't sound fantastic, which is one of the funniest fucking jokes I've heard in a while. They also talked about it on the Viva section, which is very funny as well. But yeah, it was a good episode for sure.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. I know we were all kind of used to Connor and Pat, but I like Connor and Phil a lot.
Phil's clever. Phil's clever and snarky in a very different way than Pat. But yeah, very funny.
Connor already has a really good podcast voice, and I think it kind of sets well with Phil's English accent. It's a good combination. Some podcasts have that. You either have podcasts where two guys sound the same, or they sound very similar. Like, wait, who the fuck is talking? Yeah, you kind of lose track. So I like that. Yeah, for
sure, dude. Cool. Well, I guess I'll jump into my can't miss episode for this week. I actually have two. The first episode I recommend people can't miss this week, we actually played a clip of on the intro. On the intro, you heard John Morgan explaining how he, for once in the podcast, got coffee and he managed to spill it all over all of his recording equipment. So really, he should never be drinking anything other than cold frosty beverages. So he is all in. He's also, since he's in Denver for the 25th anniversary card this weekend, he is drinking a ton of Fat Tire during the podcast, which is hilarious. And he just goes over a bunch of stuff. He talks about the show that's happening this weekend. He also mentions Sexyama and Donghyun Kim have been doing a reality show in Korea, and evidently it's super popular.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Yeah, I hadn't heard anything about it, but that sounds like a funny-ass combination, because Sexyama and Donghyun Kim are very different personalities from what I understand. let's see what else they talk about. He played an interview he did with Cowboy about fighting Perry and having a kid. And then he talks about the crazy interviews he had with Mike Perry and plays it. Mike Perry, you guys will definitely hear at least one clip of in this episode on the breaks. Mike Perry talks about how to party. Mike Perry talks about how he bullies people sometimes to help them. Mike Perry talks about... Oh, the clip you're going to hear actually on the next break is Mike Perry talking about sometimes he doesn't want to get hit. It's fucking great. It's a very, very fun episode. Rocky Pennington also, John mentions, started camp at 175 pounds.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And also, it should be noted,
That's insane, actually.
Missed weight today. She came in at 138.
I didn't know she gets up to that weight.
Well, so she had the leg injury.
Oh, that's right.
From the ATV accident. Okay. She then fought Jermaine Durandamy. I mean, not Jermaine Durandamy. She fought Amanda Nunes, who then, in first strike of that fight, kicked her leg and re-injured it. And she's been fighting with that, and she's also had trouble with thyroid issues. So rough stretch for Rocky Pennington, and it'll be interesting to see what she looks like. But just a very good episode from John Morgan. Just a solo episode he's doing from the hotel room since Cold Coffee is out in wherever Cold Coffee lives, Vegas, I think. But I really liked it.
Hell yeah, man.
Cool. And then the other can't miss I had this week was the MMA Hour, episode 456. Luke Thomas with back-to-back can't miss episodes.
Hell yeah.
Did you happen to catch this one?
Unfortunately, I did not.
It was fucking dope.
Yeah, I like I said before last week, I think he was my can't miss or catch. I'm just loving more and more from what I hear from just the way that show's become, what that show has become, what it's evolved into.
It's gotten a lot better since Luke took it over, which I'm pretty happy about. He opens talking about Floyd versus Tension, because it was the beginning of the week, and how ridiculous matchups like that are. And then he has Israel Adesanya in studio, and it's just a dope interview. They talk about Brunson pulling the shorts during the fight, talk about how important his footwork was in stopping takedowns, moving from Nigeria to New Zealand. Israel shouts out a bunch of podcasts, which I want to check out. He mentioned Brilliant Idiots, which is hosted by Charlemagne the God and a couple dudes. And then one of the dudes on that podcast also has a podcast called Flagrant 2, which Israel was on while he was in New York. I didn't get a chance to check it out, but it's on my list because I heard a clip and it was pretty goddamn funny. They tried to get him to make... They were going back... It's like... It's not morning radio-ish, but some of the bits they were going over and the jokes they were making is like almost morning radio. Like they're talking about how sometimes you gotta fake coming as a dude, and
wait, I saw.
You saw that clip.
Yeah, someone posted a clip of that. That was fucking hilarious.
So that's from that Flagrant 2 podcast. So if you guys want to check that out, I haven't gotten a chance to, but I'm betting it's hilarious. He does throw out the fact that his grandparents in Nigeria are polygamous, which I thought was hilarious because you don't run across that all the time in interviews about MMA. He did mention also on his podcast that the producers are always trying to censor him and tell him to stop swearing and shit, and he's just like, oh yeah, okay, and then doesn't do it.
Yeah.
Which is why I really like Frenemies. Which, if you guys have never seen Frenemies, Israel Adesanya's podcast, or show as he calls it, it's fucking fantastic. Highly recommend it. And then Luke does give it. So Israel is going to Amsterdam for New Year's. So Luke gave him some Amsterdam tips on the show. And then Luke played a quick interview that was pre-taped with Gus talking about the presser and the John Jones rematch. But we also did a Monday Morning Analyst on Israel Adesanya and his takedown defense evolution. But he also bought a bunch of new equipment, so it actually worked this time. And he's not just yelling about how his career is cursed and shit. So just a really fun episode. Israel was 100% the reason why it was a can't miss. And if you are not aware of that dude, you need to go check him out. I know he's on Rogan's and a lot of people caught him there. But I would say Rogan's interview with him is not even one of the better podcasts he's done.
Yeah, I always love me some Israel Adesanya. The dude, his charisma, his delivery, everything. He's not. I don't really think there's any apathy, but I think he kind of the only apathetic part is he doesn't really care what other people think. At least people he doesn't, that aren't close to him. And I like I just like his attitude and how he carries himself. I think it's kind of refreshing.
Oh, for sure.
He has a nice balance. His personality.
Yeah, I
He's
agree.
a really cool fucking guy.
Yeah, and his podcast with Dan Hooker is fantastic.
Yeah, I've seen I think 2 episodes, and I always fucking forget to listen to it because what is it a weekly?
It's not an actual podcast, is the thing. It's
more of like a production, right?
Yeah, because it's on. I don't know if it's like Maori TV or something like that.
Yeah, that's what it's called.
So yeah, it's like an actual TV production type thing, which always makes it harder to remember to go back and check out if you're not actively chasing it down. Anyway, yeah, recommend people give that a listen. Is there any new shows you listen to this week?
Unfortunately, no. That's on me, of course.
No worries. I listen to a couple actually. I can jump into if you want.
Cool, yeah.
Just briefly, Beatdown with TJ DeSantis is back. If you guys remember Beatdown was a semi-regular show. I believe it's back at once a week now, where TJ just basically has back in the day, it used to be on Sherdog Radio Network, and TJ would just talk to listeners and maybe have a guest, maybe not. And just Sherdog was on back when Sherdog was with Sherdog. I know how fucking convoluted that sounds. But TJ brought that show back, and their first episode was this week, and Dean Thomas is now the co-host, which is fantastic.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. They opened talking about the DC versus Lewis recap. They talked a bit about Floyd versus Tension rumors, and TJ straight calls that fight will never happen. That was on Monday, I think. He's like, that fight will never fucking happen. I don't even know why. It's ridiculous that anybody's even talking about it. Dean Thomas also says that at one point that Kyoji Horiguchi is one of the GOATs of ATT, which is hard to argue with in his recent performances. That dude's a beast.
I forgot that he's with ATT.
Yeah, that's why his wrestling and his striking got so competent. Because he was always good at both, but he's gotten so good at blending them. Man, yeah, and that's why it came up is because, of course, Kyoji fought Tension previously. So when they're talking about the Floyd versus Tension stuff, they're like, man, if they allow anything other than just straight boxing, Floyd is getting fucked up. Even if they just allow boxing and MMA gloves, Floyd is getting fucked up. That fight will never happen. And they talk a bit about who's next for Askren, which, of course, Dean Thomas, longtime training partner and coach of Tyron Woodley, and so, as a result, also has been around Askren a ton over the years. So he says he's talked a lot about Askren, talked with Askren about game planning and how sharp Askren is with that stuff. But yeah, just a really good episode, and that's, again, part of TJ DeSantis's Between Rounds Patreon, which I recommend subscribing to. It's $5 a month for the lowest tier, or they have tiers up to, I think, $10 a month, and you get a fuckload of content. I think they put out maybe 7 or 8 episodes this week, one of which was Collapse MMA Part 2, which was 3.5 hours on UFC 45. And that was the second.
God.
That was the second part of their of that episode. Since they also put out a part 1 on UFC 45 that was 3.5 hours long. So, bang for your buck over at Between Rounds Patreon.
I forgot as far as Patreon goes. Is it subscription based in that it's like you pay a certain price per month and you can listen to multiple Patreons or multiple shows?
No,
Patreon
so
channel, or
Patreon is all
based?
Yeah, it's all individually based, but
Okay.
the way that everyone has their own like tiers of how they can do it. Some people do like, oh, you want to throw us $1 an episode. Some people do just like a monthly. Hey, you pay $5 a month, you get access to all this extra content. And I think with TJ they have a $5 tier, a $7.50 tier, and a $10 tier per month. But again, with that, you're getting, I mean, most of the, so if you go with the $5 tier, you're still getting almost everything except for, I think, the round table for this card. But all the other stuff, you get like slightly tape delayed and stuff like that. But yeah, there's, I mean, Patreon, it's essentially, I believe as CoMain Event describes it, it is a recurring, like, way to support a podcast. No, it's heavy hands. And I can't remember how Connor Rebush phrases it. He has a, go listen to that. Here, I'll drop it in right here.
Patreon is basically continuous crowdfunding. You sign up to contribute a certain amount per month to help us with production costs and the like, and in return you get rewards ranging from a mention on the Heavy Hands website to a question or topic of your choice being discussed on the show.
See, Connor Rebush explained it perfectly. Now we totally know what it is, and Chris is well aware of what it is. Oh, definitely didn't just leave silence and then edit that in post. The other new show I listened to this week, Chris, is kind of not a new show.
So what do you got?
If I was to tell you I listened to a new show called Obviously Fight Talk, what would your response be?
So I remember So isn't that just kind of like their moniker, or they're kind of like their banner name, and then they
so Obviously Fight Talk has existed for a while, but now Obviously Fight Talk has signed on to MMA On Point, I believe is the, let me double check my notes. I believe it's MMA On Point is the name of the, Tom and Jason own MMA On Point, the YouTube channel. They do a lot of videos, a lot of like top fives and lists and stuff. And so they had a podcast at one point, but they haven't been able to keep it up because they've been putting out so much video content. So then they signed on Noel and Rob to host the MMA, or to host Obviously Fight Talk on MMA On Point's channel. I don't know if this is confusing yet, but it sure should be, because it took me a little bit to even figure out what the fuck was happening with this. But it's a good episode. It's Obviously Fight Talk. It's the exact same show, essentially. The intro, Tom and Jason are on to kind of explain the transition, and then it just turns into a regular episode of Obviously Fight Talk. Chuck Mindenhall Skypes in, friend of the show, Chuck Mindenhall, who I believe asked if we kiss our mothers with the accusations we were throwing at him about Proper 12 whiskey.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
Yep. So, they talk about Floyd versus Tension, because that was still a thing at the time. And they talk about John Kavanaugh whining about Chuck Mindenhall's interview called Artemis the Goat, where, of course, Chuck Mindenhall was snarky, as always, and Kavanaugh got real uppity about it and then blocked him on Twitter.
Of course he did.
Which was hilarious. They also recap 230, and then Bruce Buffer calls in to talk about UFC 230, and they asked Bruce Buffer to do a top 5 moments in his UFC career, which is pretty cool to hear. But yeah, just a lot of fun. It's exactly the same show as it was, but it's now moved to MMA On Point. So if you guys are looking for it, I believe their RSS feed is still the same, but their YouTube stuff might have moved over to MMA On Point. So if you're looking for it, that is where it is at.
Cool.
And also, Chris, how do you feel about them that's Obviously Fight Talk episode 1. How do you feel about that?
Like,
since they've had a whole bunch of... Yeah, they just rebooted the numbers, even though it's the same exact show. And they referenced the last show they did about 60 times.
Yeah, they should just... Maybe just alter the title of the show, like Obviously Fight Talk something, or...
Yeah, you either alter the title of the show, or you say, it's Obviously Fight Talk episode 100 whatever, now on MMA On Point kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
You can't just start the numbers over because you change owners. Shouts to Brendan Shaw.
Yeah, it sounds...
He at least renamed the show.
It sounds like the...
Oh, wait, no, but he did the opposite thing, actually.
Yo, that's right.
Where he renamed the show and kept the numbers.
Yeah, it's just like... It's like trying to fucking title a sequel to a Final Fantasy game.
That is a great point.
Yeah, it's not gonna work, ever.
Yeah, no. We definitely don't want Titus referenced in the name.
Or even if you're Kojima, Metal Gear Solid. Oh, prequels? Let's just make them 3 and 5.
Oh, yeah. Or like, let's have ground zeros and make this even more complicated because you have the number in the name even though it's not the right number.
Yeah. Or Rockstar Games. Oh, we're making a sequel to a prequel to one of the greatest games arguably ever in the last
which also had a game before that.
Yeah, let's just call it Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah, the redemptioning.
Yeah.
Or the re-redemptioning, I guess.
At least they didn't call it Red Dead Rising. They could have. Oh God.
Hey, well, I wanted Red Dead Revengeance.
Yeah,
shouts to Metal Gear.
Yeah. By the way, how you liking Red Dead? It's for me.
Oh my God, I wish I had more time in my life to play that game.
Yeah, that's all I've been. It's basically I haven't been getting any actual sleep, and that's the reason why. The game is too good.
Yeah, I mean, you get sleep in game, you know.
Yeah. Just plug it, just inject a fucking cord into my arm and just simulate sleeping. That's probably going to be a real fucking thing, unfortunately, in like 5 years.
Oh, of course it will. Why don't you start us off? Did you have any well-rounded shows this week? Shows that shouts to the CoMain Event podcast, which we referenced earlier. Do you have any shows that you wanted to shout out that are not MMA related?
Yeah, so again, I'll shout out Billy Freckles, of course. I know I need
Billy Bear.
He's the one I listen to consistently because I listen to him almost every morning when I'm driving to work.
He is a very, very funny man.
If it's
and
not
puts
him,
out a ton of content.
Your Mom's House.
Oh boy!
And
that show.
I'll listen to, and this is why I keep telling myself, fucking catch up on JRE, and I have Sunday off. I know I'm going to be watching football because of fantasy. You know, come on, you're playing for money. You kind of have to watch the games. But I'm definitely going to do some JRE catching up on. I finally listened to a lot of the Tyson Fury episode, and man, even though he's English and I usually cheer for the American, I would not be. I wouldn't be sad at all if he won. I'm rooting for that guy, man. That guy's been through some shit.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, so Billy Freckles, Billy Blue Balls, whatever you want to call him, Billy Boston. He also talked about that viral video of the kid throwing the basketball and.
Bill Burr is used to some heckling. I feel like he wouldn't have just swung on a kid.
Yeah, I don't think I'll repeat some of the stuff he said, because I'm not that it was unnecessary or too vulgar, because it wasn't. It was because I would be doing a disservice to Bill Burr based on how he said it. So, if you want to hear what he had to say, listen to, I think it was the Thursday podcast. Yeah, it's so fucking funny. It's just one of those things, like, even if I feel like shit in the morning or I'm like, fuck, I don't want to go to work, just put that shit on. I'm just laughing halfway to work. I'm like, oh, okay, it's work today. Oh, wait, I'm in La Jolla. It's sunny as fuck out, and it's nice. Why do I feel...
La Jolla doesn't make you feel too when you're working at around a bar in La Jolla on a sunny day, you start
literally, there's every person that's their first time at where I work. Oh my God, you're totally not spoiled with this view. I'm like, yeah, no shit.
Right. Well, that and it's a lot of really good-looking people.
Don't even ask me how today went, because I got distracted a lot.
I don't doubt it. It was real sunny today.
Yeah. But yeah, that was my whatever you call it. I'm so slow right now. I'm sorry. The whole off-topic podcast or off-brand.
Well-rounded.
Yeah. See, sorry, I'm out of it. If you hear a lot of awkward silence or me going like fucking Handsome Dan, I'm not completely with it right now. But
that's right. Chris is on mushrooms for this show. We didn't tell him.
Yeah. Spoiler alert. Clearly.
By the way, spoiler alert. He's not really on mushrooms. He's not Ari Shaffir or Lewis.
It's a placebo effect going on right now, guys.
For sure. Well, since you were actually speaking about Joe Rogan, my well-rounded this week is the Joe Rogan Sober October 2 recap, which I'm gonna go ahead and tell y'all. I remember some of it. I was tweeting about it yesterday. I definitely had at least 3 very tall glasses of whiskey. Shouts to that
Larceny. Yep.
Yeah. Having a lot of that. I had some red wine. I had some beers. I was on a good one.
Like a professional.
Yeah, so they recap Sober October. It was hilarious. They talk about the fitness challenge they did. They also mentioned next year they're going to be doing a who can stay on a surfboard longer competition.
Like, as in they're going out and, like, trying to actually ride a break? Like,
Yeah,
okay.
well, they talked about riding a break, and they talked about Kelly Slater's wave pool.
Ooh, the wave pool I think would be better only because like you could fuck up and just get right back on, and then that allows someone to fuck up more and more and more, and then they could just film it more.
And that's what'll be interesting is to see whether they end up doing longest time in one ride or longest time overall throughout the month. So that'll be interesting to see how that plays out. But it was just a fun episode. They all got fucking hammered. Tommy Buns got so goddamn high that he was like, you could tell he was kind of freaking out a little bit in the beginning.
Oh god, dude, that almost gives
yeah.
me anxiety thinking about someone else's anxiety. Fuck.
Right. He wasn't like he was freaking out in like a oh man I'm high kind of way.
Yeah.
So that's pretty fun. And then they also at one point they talked about the history of podcasts. And we retweeted, actually, I was talking to my buddy Gio. Actually, shouts out to my buddy Giovanni Giorgio, who every week we have his show, Pod Gods, in the notes. That is a show, it's the reason why this show exists. Gio does the show Pod Gods, which is, he talks about podcasts in general that people should check out. And we ended up doing the version of the show where I want to talk about MMA podcasts since there's too fucking many of them. And I loved it. No one was doing that. I just needed someone. The reason why this show exists is I just needed a list of what shows I should be listening to from MMA podcasts each week, and no one was doing that. So we decided to. But one thing they do talk. Yeah, but one thing they do talk about on this Sober October is the history of podcasts, and Gio was one of the people who was working with Adam Carolla and Mike Chaffee and Mark Chambers and a couple people back in the day when Adam Carolla left Loveline and went over to the, what was that radio station that he went over to? I want to say it was LSX, but that's not the name of it. LASX? No.
I'm trying to remember. Was it...
I can't remember the name. It was the national. It's like a national LA radio station that he went over to. Okay. Here, I'll just Google LA radio station while I'm talking. But anyway, Gio was one of the people that helped in that transition and also helped look into how to keep those episodes available online. And so Joe Rogan went on and talked about the Adam Curry. He didn't even name drop Leo Laporte. He was talking about like, oh, who actually made the first podcast? I think Adam Curry named it Podcast, which is super not right. It's called Podcast because fucking Apple created the name Podcasts because it's a thing you listen to on your iPod at the time.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of non-information. So I actually tweeted my buddy Gio about it because I was like, dude, by the way, they totally slept on the fact that Adam Carolla is one of the first podcasts, if not the first, if you count Loveline. Because Adam Curry had made his episodes available online to download. So, like, technically he gets kind of grandfathered in. But I was downloading Loveline back in, like, the year 2000, 2001. So, like, at what point, how far back do you follow that podcast trail? So we have an interesting series of tweets that we put out. And I retweeted them on our TSOV Pod Twitter account. But it was interesting. Gio basically broke it all down for me about the history of it and how the exports that every podcast uses now are basically just weird, like whatever random export options they used originally for the Adam Carolla show, and that information just got spread around. And then Adam Carolla actually thanked me in the thread, so that was pretty dope too. So yeah, it was a KLSX. That's the name of it. He went to KLSX in LA. But yeah, it was just a fun exchange. And if anybody wants to hear the actual history of that, first off, go check out some of Gio's podcasts that he's done. I believe it's Get It On podcast. And he's the guy, of course, Adam Carolla's archivist who's done all of his stuff forever. So, and a good buddy of mine. Very nice dude. Anyway, I'm going to stop rambling about that, but it was a lot of fun. And then Zane's World is back. I don't know if you guys know who Zane Lamprey is. I believe I've talked about him on the show before. He is was the host of Three Sheets. He was the host of the drinking show, Drinking Made Easy. And he was the host of the drinking show Chug on Netflix. And now he has a new show, which I believe I've talked about on here, called Four Sheets, which he's doing for Brewdog Network. But his podcast has made a return, which that podcast has gone through some changes.
I remember you had mentioned, this is probably a couple months ago, that you got a shout out on one of the episodes of his. I think it was on Zane's World. You said you just said it's back now, right? Because I remember I was looking.
Yeah, I sent him an email and he read it one time. He was a fucking sweetheart.
Yeah, I was looking through my phone. Yeah, unfortunately for iPhone, or I don't even think it's limited to iPhone. If you get like an iTunes app for the podcast.
Right.
If you download the episodes or even streams, I think it takes up space on the phone. So you have to do this thing called offloading it. So it's so dumb. Every time I have to delete the app and then reinstall if I want to listen to some of the shit. I know there's another way to do it.
Shouts to Android because Podcast Addict is fantastic. And I never have any issues.
Oh fuck! I think that's an app on here too. I'm an idiot.
It's probably on there. Yeah, I would use Podcast Addict, by the way. I don't know what everybody uses, but I've been using that for, a handful of years now. Ever since I switched off of Beyond Pod, and Podcast Act is rarely ever gives. The worst issues I've had with it is I hit pause, and it takes 5 or 10 seconds sometimes for the episode to stop. Is the worst problems I've had. It's not. It's great. It's a great fucking app. But yeah, anyway, Zane's World is back. It originally was, I believe... I think it was the Drinking Made Easy podcast first. Drinking Made Easy ended. Then it became Zane's World podcast, which was him and... No, it wasn't Zane's World. It was the Zane Lamprey Show, which was him, Steve McKenna, Mel, Josh, the sound guy, and one or two other people. Then there was another weird co-host that jumped on for a while. Then it switched to Zane's World, where they did an episode about a city each week, and I emailed him about a San Diego episode, and that was where he read on the show my email and was a fucking sweetheart about it. And then now it is a new version of the show, because he felt like the old format was too restricting. So this episode was Zane, Mel, and Steve. Mel, of course, being his wife, who is a smoke show and from San Diego. Used to fucking work down at, not PB Bar and Grill, but one of those.
Makes sense.
Yeah. But anyway, so Zane, Mel, and Steve McKenna on there. They are doing it on Podcast One, which we were mentioning earlier. Podcast One is editing out all the swearing from the show, which is annoying. But they only had, I think, one ad during the whole show, and it was an hour and a half. So I don't know why Chael has fucking a quarter of his show ads. Well, we do know why Chael, but it's not across all podcasts that Podcast One is doing at least. Yeah,
but I like listening to Chael just because, I like Chael. I like what he...
Me too. I just hate having to skip through fucking long ads.
Yeah, or just mute.
4 times an episode. Oh boy, Let Me Bang Bro is about to fight on Bare Knuckle Boxing. That's unfortunate. Anyway, I'm gonna... well, you remember Julian Lane, bro?
Yeah, I know. I knew exactly what you're referencing, but fun wording. Wording for someone who's listening to this or fucking lowered their volume right when you were talking, and all they heard was 100%.
Or they showed up at a they showed up at a drive-through window, and those are the 2 words that came out.
Yeah, it's on their Bluetooth. Bang Bros. That's really fucking loud. Excuse me.
There's a couple shows I get nervous about in drive-throughs.
Hey, more excuse me. Yeah, I said more fire sauce. Thanks.
Yeah. Shouts out to the Laps fan. When they're doing we're all up in that ass, I'm always terrified I'm going to be at a drive-through window right when they start getting into it. Let's see. Anyway, back to Zane's World. They talked a bit about how they're on Brewdog Network, and Brewdog Network ordered 6 episodes of 4 Sheets, and then they ordered 6 more episodes of Steve McKenna doing behind-the-scenes stuff. So that's going to be a lot of fun to check out. They talk about the old Hooters airline that used to exist, which I don't know if you know about.
I remember seeing an old advertisement on Reddit under like old school cool or some shit like that.
Yeah, that's something G6 I bet would know about. But yeah, Hooters used to have an airline, but they couldn't serve food or drinks because they didn't have a license. So there would just be chicks walking around in Hooters gear. It's real weird.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, no, that's the right response. And then they played a pre-taped interview Zane did with Tori from Mythbusters.
Oh,
Because
cool.
they've been good friends for a long time. So they talked about some old stories like from that, like when one time they accidentally fired a cannonball through a couple houses in a residential neighborhood.
Holy fuck! That's all I'd say to
Yeah,
that.
it's a good,
wow.
it's a real fun thing.
There's lucky someone probably didn't fucking die. Like imagine you're just
100%.
taking a shit, and a cannonball takes off your leg.
No, they got real lucky for sure. Plus, I believe Tori said that the police chief has the cannon in his backyard still, which is pretty funny. And then Zane explains the history of 3 sheets to drinking made easy to chug to 4 sheets, which is pretty interesting. So I just really like that show overall. Definitely worth checking out.
Hell yeah.
All right, did you have any shows you wanted to give a shout out for? Any also rans or honorable mentions?
Honorable mentions. One goes to Fights Gone By with your boy Jack Slack.
Yeah, which, by the way, fantastic name this week with Tokyo Grift.
Yep.
Talking about
I also
Tenshin
like how he
Floyd.
made a reference to, for those who have PlayStation and have played the Yakuza series, he made a reference to main protagonist Kiryu, which was hilarious. There was that. Another one that's an honorable mention, I believe I have. The MMA Vivisection I liked.
Yeah, that was a good one.
John Gunther is still in the UFC because he's owed a fight from Tough. And yeah, those
Andy
are my only two.
Steepy's buddy.
Yep. So those are my 2 honorable mentions.
Cool. I got a couple that I'll just rattle off here real quick. Writer and the Fighter episode 24 was good. They talked about the quote-unquote trade. Jake called GSP. Said GSP's like a mythical creature at this point in MMA. He's just like randomly appears.
Oh, he's a dinosaur alien. That's what he is. He's a combination.
Well, I mean, yeah, that makes sense then. Jake is fucking fired up. He yells about how he'll eat. He's fired up and ready to be a fat kid again. He talks about how he puts Oreos in a cereal bowl and eats a PB&J with it like a goddamn savage.
Wait, he puts like full on Oreos in a bowl of milk?
Well, so he's trying. I think he's getting back into fight shape because he's coming off an injury.
What is he just
So,
like weight gaining quickly?
Well, no. So I think he can't eat right now, like he wants to. So he's fucking very fired up and wants to eat all kinds of weird shit. Let's see. They also talk about how they're heads of the Israel Adesanya fan club, which, I mean, who isn't at this point?
Yeah.
UFC Unfiltered episode 245 was good. Matt and Jim are both in studio. They talk. Cowboy calls in and they talk to him about the fight with Perry. Cowboy also explains why planes don't just fall out of the sky to Matt and Jim. And because he has his pilot's degree, of course. Shouts to G6 and Judo Bill. And Mike Perry calls in after that, and Matt and Jim praise the Indian video, which they thought was good. And Mike Perry says some dude in the gym tried to fight him after he recorded the video.
I'm fucking sure.
Yeah, well, he's a Native American dude in the gym.
Yeah, I would fucking try to fight Mike Perry too. If not fight him, I'd cuss him out.
Right? Let's see. Top Turtle episode 141 was good. They had an interview with Chris Lieben talking about his bare knuckle fight, which is probably going to happen during the recording of this episode. So if you hear me react to that in the background, you'll know why. Chris actually sounded pretty sharp. He sounded sharp when we saw him. I didn't go up and talk to him because I was drinking and I know he's sober, so I'm not going to be that dude.
Yeah, no, I can't do it either.
But yeah, plus I generally try not to go up to fighters and talk to them unless I have like something specific I want to ask them. And that was a long goddamn day. But he sounded pretty sharp. He was talking about signing with the WBKFF, which is happening tonight, and how he kind of trained and sparred in the lead up to the fight. They also talk a bit about the end of the men's flyweight division, and they do a top 5 of the heavyweight goats, which was a lot of fun. I like the top 5s they do. It's always good. This past weekend, Theo Vaughn's show, he had Uriah Faber on, which just picture Uriah Faber and Theo Vaughn hanging out, and you nailed it. You nailed how this episode goes.
Yeah.
They talked Diaz versus Joe Riggs in the cage and in the hospital afterwards. They talked about Uriah getting into like the business side of things and how to set and accomplish goals. A lot of Uriah Faber talking motivational shit, and Theo Vaughn being fascinated by it, and also some good weird stories about Louisiana and how sometimes people would pay kids $5 to walk through a field to see if there's sinkholes. That's a real thing.
Like a risk over reward, but
100%.
Okay.
Protecting Neck, episode 100.
That's Dan Tom, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
your boy Dan Tom from MMA Junkie. He had his old co-host and friend Brian guest with him, who brought a bottle of Glenfiddich 14.
Ooh.
Yeah, so they were drinking that. They were drinking that during the episode, breaking down UFC Denver, and also Dan Tom did take that opportunity to take a shot at Proper 12. He's like, this is a Proper 14, and not in the way that they put a dash of 12-year-old whiskey into this. Let's see. Oh, his buddy Brian says that Cejudo answers questions like he's in a commercial, which is one of the funniest things I've ever heard.
Fuck, now I gotta watch the JRE, because I remember, who was it you that told me Cejudo's like one of his corner men? He was dressed up like Captain America, the guy with the white frame glasses, and then there was another guy
Eric,
who was talking some sort of pseudoscience stuff, right? But he kind of seemed like a snake
Yep.
oilsman, snake oil salesman. Was that the other guy?
Yeah.
Or was he nervous?
It's too sciencey. Yeah, that's the thing, is it's too sciencey for me to know whether he's shady or not. But he definitely had a shady vibe to him. Like, whenever anybody has too much energy, I always get nervous on a podcast. I'm like, everything you're saying right now, I'm giving hella side-eye to, so. But yeah, the Protecting Neck episode was good, and it was cool to see them hit their 100th episode. MMA Junkie 2796 was decent. DC was on, and God, who else called in? DC, maybe it was just DC on that one. Oh no, Dustin Poirier was the other one they called in. And at one point, fucking Gorgeous George calls tension some kickboxer during that.
Oh, great.
It's like, dude, really, some kickboxer? Wonder Twins Power Podcast episode 2 was good. Ian talks about Osterine, which is interesting. Behind the Paywall, TJ and Jeff Sherwood recorded at Tachi Palace, which is kind of cool, because I believe the Tachi Palace fights are going on as we record this. And episode 2797 of MMA Junkie Radio, they had Josh Gross and Darren Elkins on. Eric Elkins talk about his fight with Lamas, and Josh Gross talk about, I don't know, the World Series and tension versus Floyd and shit like that. So, all good stuff that I recommend checking out.
Oh yeah, man.
Cool. I think we talked about most of the news stuff that came up. Oh, right, the flyweight division is dead. Or dying. We touched on it.
There's gonna be one last hurrah, and I think that's it.
Yeah, which, whatever, man. Let them go somewhere where they're gonna get some goddamn promotion. I'm tired of the UFC and the way they've been treating that. We talked about Lando getting cut. Oh, have you heard CFFC? Did you hear the rumor about this bullshit?
I remember I skimmed an article that had CFFC in it, and bullshit pertained to it, but I didn't read all of it. So, enlighten.
So the bullshit pertaining to CFFC, which we went to CFFC 64, great event. They are now signing on CM Punk as a co-host, since they're going to Fight Pass. Or not a co-host, but a commentator.
That's my reaction there, guys. That's it.
Yeah, no, it's bad. It's bad stuff. Doug Stanhope says he's going to be going on a episode of Phone Booth Fighting with Joby soon, so that should be interesting. And Jack Encarnacio's Rewind show is going to be back on Saturday, so tomorrow when we're recording this. He's interviewing Javier Vasquez, who Javi is coming off of cancer diagnosis, and which I believe he's recovered from. So Jack Encarnacio did an interview with him a long time ago, and when he retired, and he's doing a follow-up interview for the first episode of the Rewind Show return. I believe it comes out tomorrow, so I'm excited about that a lot. I really like Jack Encarnacio, of course, co-host of the Laps Fan podcast, and he's not afraid to get in your ass. I'm just gonna let that one sit there.
Yeah. I wanted to do it to you on purpose because you already mentioned that before, and I'm like, let's see what happens if I don't respond.
No, that's the way to do it. That's 100% the way to do it. Use those flamboyant gimmicks. So good. Anyway, we're gonna go ahead and wrap this here. We will be back in a minute to do a I don't know. You know what? We're not gonna do a 2:30 recap. We'll briefly talk about it or something.
I was gonna suggest let's just briefly talk about it because every other podcast this week already did. There's some
DC looked great. Yeah, he 100%
DC looked great. He fucking destroyed Derek Lewis, who will always need to work on his grappling and Derek Lewis is who he is. He's a very entertaining fighter. He's a very entertaining personality. He's admitted himself that he is not really an MMA fighter. He's a street fighter. That
fucking front headlock to ankle pick he hit is so dope.
Yeah, when I saw that, I was like, wow. Or more like, wow. You know,
slick as hell.
Yeah.
Chris Weidman won the shit out of his fight up until he got hit in the face.
I felt bad for him.
I always do. I like Weidman.
He needs to stop fighting in New York.
Tough third rounds.
Yeah. Because I think he's lost every fight in New York.
And fucking Tan Dan is doing him no favors out there.
Ooh, yeah, that was But yeah.
Well, it was not great, but also Tan Dan was the one who reffed the fucking Gegard Mousasi fight, if you remember that.
Oh, that's right.
With that controversy. So Jared Cannonier looked fantastic against David Branch.
He did, and he's
looking
the
real
reverse
good for
Rumble.
that division. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good way to put it.
It's like he dropped all that weight but still has some heavyweight pop.
Yeah, he's like the reverse Rumble or the more technical Khalil Roundtree.
That too. That works too.
Yeah. Carl Roberson got the win over Jack Marshman, which by decision, but that's kind of how I saw that one going.
That was entertaining. Marshman's got a hell of a fucking chin, dude. Like,
hell yes, he ate so many shots.
Dude, like I was saying to Trevor, I'm like, look, this Roberson guy is like, he's cut, it's like shredded. He's got to be hitting really fucking hard, regardless.
He was smashing him clean on the jaw and the face, and just no reaction at all from Marshman.
Yeah,
it's insane.
Yeah, that's.
It's like the opposite of this next fight that Israel Adesanya fucking put a beating on Derek Brunson in. Derek Brunson didn't just sprint him with his chin up. He actually tried to wrestle.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Never saw that coming. Other standouts, Jordan Rinaldi looked fantastic in his decision win over Jason Knight. Just completely out-scrambled him and had an incredible back take and just back control game. Sajara Eubanks got real excited about beating Roxanne Modafferi.
Yeah, my cousin who...
after blowing weight.
Yeah. I like Roxy. I like what she brings. Her energy is always positive and great. I know I've heard some people criticize, say, "Oh, she's not a UFC caliber fighter, man," or none of these chicks are. And
those are people who didn't see her in
it's bullshit.
In the second
it's bullshit because
Fighter.
She's in a fucking brand new division, so cut her some slack. I mean, come on.
Well, and she's completely changed her game from what it used to look like.
So.
Like she's throwing combos. Her boxing has gotten much better. Her jiu-jitsu has been smash mouth as fuck.
And Sajara Eubanks, whatever. You can fucking be all coy and all happy-go-lucky, like nothing's wrong. Get the fuck out of
It was late notice that she took this, but still, if she would have gotten the title fight against Valentina in blue weight, that would have been bad.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I guess cheers to her, but not happy about it. Julio Arce bled all over everyone all the time. he fucking just leaked blood out of his head for 3 rounds.
Yeah,
was
that's one
goddamn
fight I heard that
ridiculous.
was fantastic. I gotta
Dude,
catch that.
he literally painted the goddamn canvas with his face. It was ridiculous. Paul Felder got a giant chunk of blood on his phone.
Oh shit!
It's fucking crazy. And then Julio tweeted Paul Felder after the fight and said, "Sorry, Paul." Let's see. Lyman Good beat the shit out of Ben Saunders. Unfortunately, I like Lyman Good, but I like Ben Saunders a lot, and that was rough. Matt Frivola got the win over Lando Venata. Or that's right, that fight was a draw. Matt Frivola probably won that fight against Lando Venata. Venata didn't do dick the last round.
Yeah, the prelims sound exciting, minus that draw maybe, but
yeah, mostly there was a handful of decisions, but they're all very back and forth, except for a couple. But even those, I mean, like watching Jordan Rinaldi constantly switch the body triangle while on the back effortlessly and just dominating Jason Knight was super impressive. And then Shane Burgos hit a slick ass armbar on Kurt Holobaugh.
Dude, I saw that
replay.
replay. That was fucking great.
Yeah. So just a really fun card overall. I had a really good time with it. I did not do great in fantasy, but that's because I picked up Derek Lewis. Because I was like, I need a fuck. I had Derek Lewis on one of my fantasy teams, and I had Chris Weidman on the other one. Which Chris Weidman almost got me points. Derek Lewis did not get me points.
That's all good. I mean, you went for the puncher's chance. No shame in that.
Yeah, I have to on both those leagues because I'm grabbing at straws on a couple of those. So cool, man. We will go ahead and wrap this segment here. We will play this clip of what's the clip? This is the clip of how Mike Perry just sometimes doesn't want to get hit right now. So check that out, and we'll be back in just a second with our preview of this UFC Denver card for the 25th anniversary.
I was doing a digital interview, and I was saying, they were asking about coaches. What do you think? When your coaches are yelling at you in the sides because they're telling you to do stuff? And I'm like, I wish I could just be like, shut up, yo. Like, we're both tentative, like trying to get to each other, and you gotta feint. You just keep and neither person wants to go first because then fucking might get caught. And they're yelling, go, Mike, you gotta go. And I'm like, fuck you, you go. I don't want to get hit right now.
All right, everyone, we are back for the
we are.
preview segment of UFC Fight Night 139, Korean Zombie versus Rodriguez, also known as UFC Fight Night Denver.
That's right. Chris, what are you drinking on? Are you still drinking on the same thing?
Yep, still got the 2 Hearted Ale from Bell's. A very, very good old school IPA. Very flavorful. Good smell, too. And if you're into a good aroma from your beer. If that is pleasant to you.
I've got a Brewery West Ask the Dust IPA, which is hella cloudy and hella hazy and looking pretty good. I believe it's with, Mosaic, Simcoe, Citra, and something else. But it's looking real delicious.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, actually, that's hella good. Shouts out to Preferred Liquors in Santee. This was canned on...
I like how they have the date.
A month ago. Not too bad.
Okay.
Yeah. No, it's real solid. The dude that runs that place is dope as hell, too. So, also, spoiler, I think Johnny Hendricks got knocked the fuck out in this bare knuckle boxing event. He sure did. Oh, so spoiler about that. Sorry. Anyway, we are not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about UFC Fight Night 139.
So, to kick us off on 139, we have a bantamweight bout.
Flyweight.
Oh, it is flyweight. That's why I worded it like that.
To be fair, I mean, you could word anything about flyweight that way right now.
Yeah. So, this doesn't seem like a terrible fight. We have Mark De La Rosa, the Bumblebee, record of 10-1, going off against Joby Sanchez with a record of 11-3.
Yeah, I think this is gonna be a fun one.
Yeah, Mark De La Rosa is known for his slick Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He is only 24 years old. Fights out of Genesis BJJ, according to Tapology. Last time we saw him was against Elias Garcia this past summer in July. He won via rear naked choke. He's going up against Joby Sanchez, who, according to Tapology, is fighting out of Jackson Wink MMA in Albuquerque, New Mexico. He's 27 years old, 5'6". This is at flyweight. Last time we saw Joby Sanchez, he got choked out by Roberto Sanchez in February. Before that, he won via ground and pound, and he was a nice little win streak. But this is his only second official UFC fight. 2 other fights being in Dana White's Contender Series. Mark De La Rosa, this marks his 3rd UFC fight. His first fight was a fucking debut against Tim Elliott, which that's insane. But in that fight, he lost via Anaconda choke. Initially, I kind of see this, and I believe I picked up Mark De La Rosa on one of my fantasy teams because I'm really confident he's going to choke this dude the fuck out.
Yeah, I think that's probably a smart play.
But I noticed
because worst case, if this, I feel like if this is going to go to decision if Mark doesn't take it.
Yeah, because he's at Jackson Wink, Joby, and I know they're well disciplined and sprawling, and kind of just those teep kicks.
True.
That's like that Jackson Wink special.
De La Rosa has a nasty fucking squeeze though, and he has a solid ground game.
Yeah, I mean that's my pick still. I'm kind of confident in that. I'm gonna go with De La Rosa. I'm going via rear naked.
Yeah. I'm going decision, but I'm leaning the same way. Also, he did hit that dope-ass crazy horse standing spin triangle escape, which I am a big fan of as well. So, I definitely have De La Rosa on that one.
So, what are the odds once you're done?
What round?
I'm going to say round 3. I'm pretty confident that Sanchez will kind of be able to keep distance for a while, and then he'll kind of... I don't want to say he'll slip, but De La Rosa is going to be able to find an opening.
That's a pretty smart pick because this is Santis in Denver. It's a mile in the air, so something to keep in mind for sure on this card. Which I think there's a couple fights on here that I think are 100% going to come down.
So what you're saying is you won't be seeing Derek Lewis fight in a highly elevated place, whether it
no
be
one
Denver
over
or the
welterweight
mountains.
on this card. Thank goodness. They
You
put all
won't
the
be
middleweights
seeing-
last week.
Let's just say you won't be seeing Derek Lewis fight in Mexico, at least Mexico City.
Hopefully we don't see Kane fight there again either.
Yeah, bring back Sea Level Kane.
Yeah. Bring back anything other than Mexico City, Kane. Also, shouts to girlfriend Karen for vaping in the background. Let's see. So the odds on that fight. Mark De La Rosa, as of right now on Bovada, he is a -280 favorite to a +220 Joby Sanchez. That seems a little wide to me.
Yeah, that seems pretty wide to me as well.
Like I would put it in the 180s or 2s.
I agree with that.
280 is kind of crazy. So I don't. Maybe people. I mean, to be fair, Joby Sanchez has been out grappled pretty recently. Like he's good in scrambles and he has a solid boxing game with straight punches, but it's his second run in the UFC and he has been out scrambled a couple times. So I think it could be a tough one.
Could be. Next up, we have another flyweight belt. So these the last two of 2018. possibly?
No, there was supposed to be 3 on this card, but of course the fight with what's his face fell off.
Oh, Ray Borg.
Yep.
And...
Joseph Benavidez.
Yeah.
And then there's 3 more flyweight fights scheduled before the end of the year.
Okay, and then potentially Cejudo versus
potentially
Dillashaw
Cejudo
is the
in
last
January.
flyweight fight ever in the UFC.
That's the theory. It's sounding like that more and more, so we'll see.
Which isn't a terrible idea if you're gonna close that out.
I mean, I love TJ Santis' idea. Let's just bring back the WEC already.
I like that too.
It'd be fun.
So
everybody loves the blue cage.
Yeah, and those blue gloves are pretty cool. So, speaking of this flyweight fight, we have Eric Shelton as what was the was it Care Don't Care that called this tough scraps?
I mean,
like
everybody
leftovers
from Contender Series are tough. Like, yeah.
So Eric Shelton from the Tough Champion season 24, where it was a flyweight tournament, which a season I enjoyed. I liked that angle, honestly. Eric Shelton has a record of 11-5. The American is fighting another fellow American. Joseph Morales has a record of 9-1. Last time we saw Eric Shelton, he lost to unanimous decision to Alex Perez. Before that, he won a decision against Heno Lausa.
Yep.
And before that, he had lost 3 in a row, but to a lot of competitive fighters. Jared Brooks, Alexandre
favors in his
Pantoja,
matchup.
and Tim Elliott. Yeah.
Like, that's a fucking crazy run to put somebody not that deep into their career through.
Yeah, Shelton is 27. He's 5'6". Joseph Morales is 24, 5'6". Last time we saw him, he's had 2 UFC fights. He lost via punches to.
Oh, we've seen him 3 times, Chris.
That's right. At CFFC 64. You're absolutely right. We did see him there.
Yeah, we were in the building for that one.
Yep.
That was down in North Park.
Where he knocked out Sean Santella in round 2.
That's right. And where I drank a fucking E40 before I went, which was a terrible idea.
And you also had like a Monster Red Bull, which why?
Oh, and the guy bought us a shot of Jack Daniels, if I remember right.
No, it was some shitty tequila.
Was it? I thought it was either rum, tequila, or
It was
Jack.
Tequila. That's what did. I immediately stopped drinking
do
after
me any
that,
favors,
which
yeah.
favored me because I sobered up for the next couple
Although,
hours.
shouts out to that dude from Alliance, who was very nice.
Those
and
guys were cool.
bought us that shot. Yeah.
Those guys are badass. Joseph Morales, last time we saw him, got knocked out, or finished, I should say, by Brazilian Davison Figueiredo. And that guy's still undefeated, I believe, and impressive. Yeah, he'll probably be moving up to bantamweight. I think everyone will be. So I'm trying to think how I really see this fight going.
Yeah, I believe, who is it? I think Caposo tweeted out, cut Davidson, or it was either Caposo or Mookie tweeted out, cut Davidson, Figueiredo, and Rue Riot.
Yeah, no, please don't do that.
Yeah.
This
I think this one's going to come down to the scrambles.
Yeah, because I just noticed Morales is out of Team Alpha Male, according to Tapology.
I believe so.
So I could see him scrambling a lot. I can see him getting top control and probably going for some sort of guillotine falling on his back if it gets to that.
Yeah, I think Eric Shelton's going to consistently win the scrambles in this because he's shown he has good scrambling ability. Like,
yeah, I mean, his fight against Tim Elliott was a very good fight.
Yeah, and he got out-grappled by Lausa. Or, sorry, he out-grappled Lausa pretty consistently, but he got out-scrambled by Perez. So, that's the kind of, like, it makes me a little nervous because I feel like there's going to be a lot of scrambles in this. And Morales did hit a nasty sub on Sanchez, but man, he kind of got dominated in his fight against Figueiredo on the ground. So I'm having trouble not picking Eric Shelton by decision in this one, just for out scrambling.
I think that's what I'm gonna go with because his boxing's pretty crisp and he has good footwork going. Almost kind of laterally, like he kind of goes, like he feints towards the level change.
He has some Kevin Lee to him almost. With like a little less sharp hands.
He's got, but he's got a decent speed. His speed is good in his jab. Remember,
Yeah.
I like that
Absolutely.
kid. I still like that kid. I still think he has a lot, even though he's already 27. I should say already 27. That's bullshit. Excuse me, because GSP started when he was 26. So I should really stop saying that.
Sport is weird.
It's not
yeah,
like
when it
everyone
comes
in
to
it. No,
age.
not that many people in MMA. Honestly, I feel like
DC is a good example.
Yeah. Yeah, so just to forget now that I ever said that. That's a fucking in sports. The only sport that applies to is like football when you don't have that much time to play in your prime.
To be fair, in MMA, it's more how many years have you been in the sport?
Have you been
rather
involved?
than when did
Exactly.
you start.
Yeah. Exactly. So, thank you, and my apologies to Shelton right there. No, he's only 27, which is great because he is still looks sharp. I mean,
Yeah.
So.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick him too, and I like decision. You really just don't see too many knockouts with the smaller guys.
That's true, and also like they are both grapplers by nature, despite them both having pretty solid striking. So, yeah, I mean, and I think the line is proven us about accurate. It looks like Eric Shelton is a -130 favorite to a +100 Joseph Morales. So everybody, I think, is a little nervous about how these scrambles are going to go, but I think everybody's probably leaning Eric Shelton just a little bit out of experience.
God, I mean, if in fact, if TJ versus Cejudo's not the last flyweight fight, like, God, who the fuck, and say TJ wins, who the fuck does he fight next? Like, Juicy Formiga, I don't even know, like, the rankings in flyweight. That's so crazy.
Yeah, that'd be
Holy shit.
weird.
Oh man, I bet you they just feed him fucking like Joseph Benavidez. I think they're still homies, so I don't know if that would happen. Who knows? I don't know. That's just crazy.
Yeah, because I think
Anyways,
Joseph.
I'm
Joseph
banking on that
mostly
being
trains
the last
out of-
fight. I really am.
Yeah, I think everybody is. Yeah, because Joseph trains out of Vegas now, I think, primarily.
Yeah, I don't even think he's with Alpha Male anymore.
No.
I don't think at all.
I think he might still work. I don't know if he still works with
I think he just works with like Chad
Dwayne.
Mendez.
Yeah, you might be right.
'Cause I know
Anyway,
TJ's
we'll keep
still
on.
with Mendez, but
Yeah. Anyway, we'll keep on moving on. But yeah, it's a bummer that the Borg and Benavidez fight fell off the card because that would have been a lot of fun.
yeah. So what are the odds on this? If you didn't already say them, I probably skipped that.
I believe I did. Yeah, it was Eric Shelton was a -130 to Joseph Morales +100.
Okay. I like it. Next up we have, I'm not going to call this guy Tough Scraps, even though technically he is, because this guy has improved a lot since Tough 22, I believe it was. He was on McGregor and Faber. This is the American Julian Erosa, aka Juicy J. This is a featherweight bout. He's going up against fellow American Devontae King Cage Smith, as his nickname
King
states.
Cage?
King Cage.
Oh, that's a bad nickname.
Yeah, I mean, he's 5'8". I'd say if he was like 6 something, he could be just call yourself Luke Cage at that point. But
Out of Factory X, though.
okay.
Factory X is cool, of course, for notable fighters like the Kamosi brothers, Joe Warren, guys like that.
Yeah, this guy's a Colorado
James
guy.
Krause, and those guys work with him a lot.
Julian Erosa, record of 22-5. This guy is 29 years old, 6 feet tall, which is big for a featherweight.
By the way, Juicy J versus King Cage is a fucking hell of a fight card.
Yeah, it's like, I could say it's like two rappers. I don't want to say who didn't make it, because Juicy J, I think, kind of had a couple like features, or he featured on some big artist names. Even after he was with 3-6 Mafia, doesn't matter. But
Juicy J is the man. Don't get it twisted.
oh no, I'm not. I remember he had a fantastic.
Chris, it's all
film.
you have a zip and a double cup. All right, you're not getting high as fuck.
I just remember his fucking great film cameo, and I think he was in Jackass 2.
Yeah. Not to mention, Chris, you say no to ratchet pussy. Juicy J can't.
I mean, you can't.
That's by the way, my favorite Juicy J line of all time.
You can't deny his.
You say no to a ratchet pussy. Juicy J can't.
You can't deny his eloquent phrases, and just he kind of just breeds provocative. Whatchamacallit. He's provocative himself. He provokes a lot of thought. You really kind of think about what he just said.
Juicy
Like,
J
you know what?
provokes hella thoughts too.
Yeah.
Just spelled a little different.
Yes. There you go. Double meaning to that word. So, Juicy J, last time we saw him fight, he won via head kick and punches on Dana White's Contender Series. An impressive performance in the first minute of round number 2. Before that, he was fighting in some other promotion known as Cage Sport in his time after... Oh, wow. He got finished by Teruto Ishihara? Yeah, this guy's definitely been improving for sure.
Fought Paddy Pimblett back in the day, too.
Yeah.
Or wait, no, I'm mixing people up.
No, it said Paddy Pimblett.
Really?
Yeah.
Holy shit. I did not realize how many fights Julian Erosa has had.
Yeah, he's been fighting a while.
Crazy.
Anyways, King Cage, Devontae Smith, record of 8-1. Where was I? He was also... So this is Battle of Dana White's Contender Series, guys. Devontae Smith, last August, defeated Joseph Lowry via elbows. Or hellbows. I guess that's what some people call them when you finish someone on the ground.
It was
with elbows.
nasty.
I think I remember that highlight. In any sense, after evaluating these two guys and how they match up, I think this is going to be a good striking exchange of a fight. And I feel like someone's getting finished here.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that makes me nervous is Smith, Travis Brown, Lowry in that fight.
Oh, with when he did the Mitrione with the eye poke thing? Is that what you mean?
No, he Travis Browned him with the elbows against the cage, the takedown defense elbows on the cage. Where someone's in on your hips against the cage and you're hitting the elbows to the head, like across the body.
Oh, shit.
The classic Travis Brown.
Is that... Because that wasn't like what Alvarez did with the 12-6 on Poirier, right? Where he has his hips against the cage and he's like...
Yeah. I mean, right, but not to the back of the head.
Yeah. Even though technically he hit his shoulder, but still, it's the motion.
Which time?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't really know how to pick this one. Part of me's kind of leaning Erosa, but you can equally lean Smith.
Yeah.
Because they're both coming off impressive victories. I think I might coin flip this one. It's fucking dumb. And kind of...
I've been having trouble with this one too. And, so the thing is, Erosa keeps his hands crazy low, which makes me not want to pick him. He keeps his hands crazy, like Stephen Thompson low, but without the head movement.
I'm gonna flip a fucking coin.
I'll take it.
Yeah, so let's see.
I'm gonna pick tails.
I fucking flipped that way too fucking high in the air.
I'm gonna bet tails for a drink. Not like I'm gonna not take a drink regardless.
Alright, so let's see. Heads for Smith, tails for Rosa. That was a fucking weak ass flip. Let me try this. I'm like afraid I'm gonna shoot it into the ceiling in my fucking tiny ass room.
Possible.
Alright, heads. So I'm going Smith. That was actually a really clean flip.
Yeah, I think Smith gets this. Do you have a round or a method or anything?
I'll go round 2. I think it'll just be a TKO.
That is literally my pick as well.
Cool.
I have, Smith by TKO in the second.
In this quarter, this state quarter is brought to you by Cumberland Island, which is located in the state of Georgia.
Georgia.
Yep. Go get some peaches there and shit. Fucking go to Atlanta. Do something there. Go meet Kenny Powers.
That's right. 100%. The only thing that makes me very nervous about this fight, though, is John Gunther beat him once.
Beat who?
Beat Smith once. So, like, if Julian Erosa even pretends to go for a takedown, I think he wins this fight. I just don't think he's going to do that.
Fair point.
Because I have zero faith in John Gunther, which leads me to our next fight.
Yes, it does. Davi Ramos, the Brazilian, Tasmanian Devil, Davi Ramos, going up against, which, based on his picture, looks like he belongs in Red Dead Redemption 2.
Oh, no, he's fighting Burnt Chrysler. Didn't you see his nickname?
Yeah, the Machine, John Gunther. with the impressive psycho stare and mustache to boot.
I would say psycho wall paneling.
Yeah, wow, that's
That is
very
some fucking
disturbing wall
crazy
paneling.
people.
What the fuck?
Yeah, like what kind of shady 70s
It looks like
basement
he
is
got
in?
he got blood stains on the wall paneling on the
Also-
the tiles, and then had a shitty fucking paint over, like with two different shades of, looks like almost like a light purple and maroon and a fake like. Yeah, what the fuck?
Also,
is going
what
on there?
truck stop bathroom is this in? Because doesn't he still live out of a van?
I don't. There's a lot of questions.
Yeah, there sure is. Also, his record of 7-0 does not include the 2 times he got dominated in the Ultimate Fighter.
Yeah, luckily he's like, oh, they're only exhibitions. I didn't really lose.
I mean, they were smashed. He got
Yeah, I
he got
remember that one guy got
subbed by
choked him the fuck
Pena
out. Yeah.
quick as shit, and then he lost a dominant ass fight, if I remember right, as a replacement.
So Davi Ramos, 32-year-old Brazilian, is on a current streak of 2 wins. The 32-year-old, last time we saw him, he won via rear naked choke against Nick Hind, and before that, he also won via rear naked choke against another tough leftover cast-off. What do you call it? Veteran? Let's call him veterans. I won't be completely an asshole.
No,
Tough veteran.
100%
Chris
don't call him leftover.
Grits. Yeah, Chris.
But especially
Grits.
Grits.
Gritsemacher.
Yeah, I like Grits a lot. He's
that guy's
super
really
underrated
cool.
in my opinion.
Very strong clinch game in Muay Thai. John Gunther, well, how did he lose on Tough? He lost via rear naked choke.
And guillotine.
Yeah. So you see where I'm going with this. However, let's see real quick. John Gunther, who's 7-0. Last time we saw him, defeated Alan Zuniga via majority decision win last July. And he beat Devontae Smith via punches. Wow.
Yeah, I don't know how that. Like, Devontae Smith must have died from exhaustion.
So if you have an opportunity in a pick'em fight, or just if someone wants to bet you, if John Gunther's friend wants to bet you straight up, you're definitely going with Ramos on this one.
Yeah, I mean, I have Ramos in my one of my fantasy teams. I am 100% going with him. What method do you have him by?
You know what? I'm going submission round 1. Sorry, John.
I am going with Davi via KO in the first, because John Gunther gets rocked in every fight he's ever been in. So I don't know at all why this would be any different, mostly. I mean, the only thing I could see, John Gunther could win this fight if it goes past, if it goes past 7 minutes. I think he might win that fight. Because it is at elevation, and John Gunther does have a crazy pace and cardio. But he's going to get smashed for most of the first round, I think. So, I think it could be trouble.
So that brings us to, Chris, what are the odds?
Oh, wait. That's right. So, we forgot to do odds for the last one, right? Devontae Smith. Holy shit. Devontae Smith is a minus 240 favorite to a plus 190 Julian Erosa. Chris, go ahead and guess how big of a... I'm going to go ahead and spoil it. How big of a favorite do you think Davi Ramos is over John Gunther?
I'm going
to go ahead and tell you before you answer. You're guessing too low.
Okay. I'm going to go minus...
Too low.
900.
Too low.
All right, minus 2,000.
Closer. Actually, the
God.
first one was closer, but it's minus 1,200. He's a minus 1,200 favorite to a plus 700 John Gunther. Wow. The odds should not be that wide. Like, they should be wide. That means too
bet
wide.
on Gunther. Bet $10.
No. You put him in a parlay with like another big underdog. Like, you put him in a parlay with like Hannah Seilers for $1, and you make a little bit of money maybe. But I wouldn't. I would pretend like that money disappeared and that you found money on the ground if you do make that bet.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So let's keep on moving on. We got Chaz Skelly versus Bobby. Why'd I go with Dave? Davi Ramos. Bobby Moffett. Yeah. By the way, Bobby Moffett is one of those names that sounds like a character in the Rockstar game Bully.
Yeah, it does.
Like 100%, I talked to Bobby Moffett in that game at some point. Or, AKA the Scrapper versus the Wolfman, if we're 1950s race car drivers.
Yeah, the Scrapper and the Wolfman.
Yeah, 100%. Wolfman Jack.
Oh boy.
Anyway, so this one, man, I'm really not confident in this fight. Skelly's really good in scrambles, but he had trouble in the night fight at keeping the pace he was putting on night and not getting caught in weird scrambly shit, which is why he got finished by ground and pound in the third. He looked real good against Chris Grussmacher and Maximo Blanco, in which he hit subs on both of them. He has a really good ground game, but he seems like if he doesn't catch a sub on you in the first round or two, it's kind of a tough out. Bobby Moffett on the other side. Bobby Moffett coming off the win over Jacob Kilburn and in Dana White Tuesday Night Contender Series, and then before that Jonathan Jackson in V3 Fight 69. He is 13-3 versus the 17-3 Chaz Skelly. He does have so here's the thing. Moffett was out wrestled by Kilburn, but he does have a heavy top game when he gets on top. I'm gonna lean Chaz Skelly in this by decision, just off stuffing takedowns and outworking him. But Bobby Moffett, like, this could be a tough out for sure if Chaz Skelly isn't able to work his game plan and or if any of the scrambles start being problems for Chaz Skelly. It's gonna be a long fucking fight for him.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna lean Chaz Skelly as well, mainly because I haven't seen him really submitted, which kind of seems like Bobby's approach.
There's gonna be a lot of scrambles in this fight, regardless, for sure, or at least initiations to scrambles.
Yeah, I'm going Chaz.
You on decision also?
Decision, yeah. Yeah.
Cool. We'll keep on moving on.
What are the odds?
Oh, the odds, right.
Real quick.
God, I'm so bad at that.
Oh, it's all good. I'm actually surprised I'm remembering to ask you, to be honest.
I appreciate it. I'm drinking a delicious ass hazy IPA, and I keep getting distracted. Let's see.
You keep getting hazy?
Yeah, my memory is as hazy as this IPA is. Ayo! Let's see. So Bovada has this at -115 to -115. So dead even. Pretty much even across the boards. Little bit of juice on Bobby Moffett, it looks like, if you look at the more, we'll say, notorious books like 5 Dimes or Bet DSI, but yeah, pretty close.
So, this next fight, by the way, women's strawweight bout, it's basically the I lost to Big Mac fight. Just kidding. Even though that is true, I believe.
Yep.
Right?
She got fucking Habib'd by Big Mac.
Yeah, Amanda Bobby Cooper.
She ate that right hand when looking for a takedown.
Yeah. Big Mac went over the right with some fucking extra bread and pickles. Fucking slammed it on.
That's right. Hit it with the middle bread.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you. I'm glad you got that. The fucking middle bread attack from Big Mac. Ashley Yoder got submitted. Oh, she lost a close. Oh, okay. That was oh yeah. What the fuck am I talking about? Like, I'm not saying Yoder's jiu-jitsu is on Big Mac's level.
No, definitely not.
Hers is more of a quarter pounder, I must say. But
I mean, in comparison, everybody's is.
Yeah.
Yeah. They both have some salty ass records too.
Yeah. Thank God ABC beat Angela Magana, though. But then again, who hasn't?
Including Cyborg and probably a boyfriend or two.
Oh boy, zing. Yeah, I'm
no,
going.
I don't feel good about it.
Yeah.
Also, shouts out to Ashley Yoder for having the epic fighting tag on her picture on Apology.
Yeah, I'm going Yoder via sub.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What round?
Round 3. I think it's Cooper keeps it pretty competitive with the stand-up, kind of, but she keeps her hands down. I don't know. Fuck.
I'm probably going Yoder by decision.
Yeah, that's probably the best bet.
I do think she's gonna outstrike Amanda. I think she's gonna outstrike ABC from way outside, and I think she's gonna be able to initiate and finish enough takedowns to win rounds. She hit a couple decent takedowns. Who did she fight last? She had a couple decent takedowns against Angela Hill. And I think she hit one or two against Justine Kish as well. I know she had a very nice one against Angie Hill, who has been showing much improved takedown defense as of late, especially after her turnaround in the Olivia Nanta Souza fight, which is like one of the most impressive turnarounds I've seen in a game. Just completely reworked her takedown defense and grappling game. So I think Yoder probably wins enough scrambles and takedowns to take this. But if it stays on the fight the whole time, it's going to be kind of... If she's not able to get a solid outside kicking game going, I think it's going to be a tough night for Yoder. But I'm taking her, via decision.
Okay. And then what are the
odds on this one? Ashley Yoder is a minus 160 favorite on Bovada to a plus 130. Amanda Bobby Cooper. I keep wanting to call her. The fucking Amanda Ashley thing does not help me or do me any favors in this instance.
ABY Ashley Bobby Yoder? I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe.
Ashley Bobby Yoder Cooper.
Yeah. So, next up we have, which I think should be an exciting lightweight bout.
Should be a lot of fun. They were supposed to fight way back in Tough.
That's right.
If Pena hadn't been injured, they would have fought.
We have American Kickboxing Academies. Luis Pena, also known as, or how most people known him as, Violent Bob Ross.
Yeah, who's hilarious and very fun on social media. Also seems like maybe the nicest guy in MMA. Yeah,
this guy seems really cool, very humble. And I feel like a lot of AK fighters teach humility.
That's true.
Just ask Khabib. I'm going to make him humble. I smash.
In general, just being a wrestler, the kind of wrestler that's at AZT, you kind of get humbled on the reg, right?
Or AKA.
Sorry, that's what I meant.
Yeah,
although
we know what you mean.
it applies to both
ATT,
of them, to be fair.
Yeah. Last time we saw Luis Pena, he won on Tough 27 finale via guillotine choke against Richie Smullen.
Yep.
Mike Trezano, who, like you mentioned earlier, was supposed to fight Luis Pena on that same season.
And had maybe the most boring fight I've seen in a fucking
while.
Oh,
God, was he in the
Joe
finale?
Giannetti.
Like, oh, God, that fight was so fucking bad.
Yeah, that was that really...
Oh, God.
Where he sat inside... It was either side control or mount and did almost nothing.
They were, like,
for
punching each other's butts.
Oh, that was also, yes, the famed
wasn't that the
double
same
guard.
fight?
Yeah.
Dude, that was so fucked. Yeah, no. So I'll just say this: I'm picking Pena, not mostly because I know Trezano is out of Tiger Schulman, a very, very talented gym.
Yeah, and he looks good everywhere.
And I just pray for everyone's viewing sake that this is a very exciting fight and not. God, I hate. Why did you remind me? I'm kidding.
You have Pena
that fight was so fucked, dude. God.
Oh, it was bad.
God, I wanted to just turn it off. I think I did actually.
I really want, although nothing is as bad as that Fox card from like 2 weeks ago. that shit, or last weekend, that was the most, or no, 2 weekends ago.
I think I actually missed that entire card, and I think you told me on podcast.
You did,
like, I didn't
and
miss shit.
we were gonna recap it, and then there was so many goddamn ads and rough decisions that I was like, fuck everything about this. So what'd you have Pena by in this?
Oh yeah, technically this dude's undefeated, so can't really see his real weaknesses. I think Pena wins decision.
So I'm definitely taking Pena. I think your decision is probably the right answer, but I think I'm gonna go KO in the third. Because of Denver.
Okay, I like it.
Probably ground and pound or or TKO against the fence or something. I just think Pena's gonna be able to stuff enough of the takedowns of Mike Trizano, and also is so long and puts pressure on dudes that, and he's an AKA, like all those add up to a long pressure game that I think will. If Mike Trizano can't get his takedowns working in that fight, I think it's going to be a long night for him.
Yeah. I can see that.
Yeah, I'm going Pena for sure.
So, what are the odds?
Oh, right. God, I'm so bad at this. Well, I mean, apart from the part where I'm terrible at the podcast in general, Shoutouts is probably some of the editing last week. Well, when you go back to drinking after a month of not drinking, sometimes your editing gets a little sloppy. I got a little
I'm at fault too, dude, for some of the rough setting podcasts where I've just been like dead ass tired. And it's like,
I mean, to be fair, some of these cards make you dead ass tired just thinking about them. So Luis Pena is a minus 170 favorite to a plus 140 Mike Trizano on Bovada.
Okay.
I'm going by Bovada odds now because that's the only one I'm going to count on. Because everything's in the fucking UK and has weird conversion shit going on. And 5 dimes is untrustworthy nowadays.
So, next up, we have Macy Barber.
Yeah.
The future Barber. Sweeney Todd.
That's right.
If she's a killer.
That's right.
Well,
Edward Scissorhands up next.
Going up against Shockwave, Hannah Cyphers.
Although, really, it's ironic to call her Edward Scissorhands when she throws like 0 punches.
Or Sweeney Todd in general, whatever. Yeah.
All she throws is kicks.
So I have a question. Is
Good
this
old scissor leg. Hey, females like being called scissor legs a lot, right? That doesn't imply anything weird.
Sure. I mean, never mind. I won't say anything. Anyways, this is this the same chick? Oh yeah, she's only 20 years old. Is this the same chick who said my goal is to become like the youngest champion ever? That chick, and she has like a shitload of like family.
Maybe.
I think this is her.
I'm not sure if you're confusing her with the chick from Alliance.
No.
Okay, I think you're right, but because there's her, because I've been
this chick was impressive as fuck.
Because I've been mixing her up. I've been mixing her up with the girl from Alliance who has dope wrestling, and not. I don't mean, Cal Holiday, or Cal, whatever Schwartz, I think. I can't remember her name right now, but anyway, Macy Barber's dope. She has a very solid kicking game, and she has a heavy top game. But Cyphers is heavy-handed as shit.
I'm just looking at her fucking picture. Her arms are huge.
Yeah. Well, and breakdown their their recent fights are pretty crazy.
Yeah, sorry about that. Macy Barber, last time we saw her, she won very impressively over Jamie Colleen on Dana White's Season at Contender Series.
She's out of Fort Collins. That's where it was.
Via Ground and Pound, which was this past July. Before that, she was in LFA. She won via Ground and Pound. Also, rear naked choke against a past opponent. She's a very physical, as long as she's in mount kind of fighter. Looks like she's very imposing. She likes to impose her will. Yeah. Her
like
opponent,
I said,
Hannah
heavy
Cyphers,
top game.
Oh yeah, she's 5-0, so still very fresh in the game. Hannah Cyphers is 8-2. Last time she fought, because we didn't see her last time, unless you watched Next Level Fight Club. This is
Which
her
I
UFC
did.
debut. Yeah, shouts out to you. You're a true fucking pioneer for that.
No, I didn't watch it at the time. Don't let me give you that.
Oh,
impression.
tape study.
I mean, in
But
tape
still.
study, yeah.
Yeah.
But Callie Robbins and Celine Haga I've both seen fight before because they're both Invicta vets.
Okay. And
As is Jillian Robertson.
How about you give us some insight on this fight?
And
then,
Heather
'cause
Jo
you've seen-
Clark. Yeah, so on this one, I am. This is actually a much more competitive fight than I thought going into it after watching some tape. Macy Barber is a heavy-handed boxer who is not afraid. She doesn't at all shy away from exchanges. And actually had a pretty decent performance in the clinch against Callie Robbins, if I remember right. It's definitely a back-and-forth fight, and she still got lit up a little bit in the clinch and kind of tied up for most of it. She still looked very good. However, Macy Barber looked great in the Jamie Colleen fight, and she's had a decent amount of LFA experience. It's hard. This is gonna be a real litmus test for both these women to see where they're at in this division and how they're gonna stack up against other competitors. But I gotta lean Macy Barber. I actually picked her up in fantasy MMA. Because I want to clarify, I picked her up in fantasy MMA. I didn't pick her up in my fantasies.
It's never too late.
Yeah. Hey, yeah. Who knows? Tonight could be I could sleep real well tonight. I don't know if you guys picked up the sigh from girlfriend Karen in the background. But it was pretty
You get
good.
it. You want to get choked out by her. Triangle choke.
Oh God, yeah, 100%. That was definitely what I meant. I wasn't talking about Raquel Pennington's girlfriend.
Girlfriend Karen doesn't want to hear it.
I don't know if that picked up on mic, but that's great. Anyway, yeah, I'm going Macy Barber on this. I got Macy probably by decision. Although, if she gets top control, I think she definitely gets a TKO finish in the first. Or whatever round she gets top control. But if she's not able to get top control, I think it probably goes to decision. I think she's going to have trouble finishing on the feet. Just with how sharp and powerful Cyphers throws her hooks, especially.
Yeah, I'm going with the hype train here. I'm going with Barber. Sticking with it. I was way too impressed with her performance and how she dominated in the Contender Series. Like you were talking about, you were alluding to, I like the top control approach, and especially against someone who throws those wide hooks. It just all matches. It all signs point to Barber for me.
Right. What method you going?
Ground and pound, man. TKO. I'm thinking it's third round. I think Cyphers is gonna. I don't want to say gas.
I bet you could
'cause
put a pace on somebody. Yeah.
We're in Denver, so cardio's a big thing, and Macy Barber's a Colorado vet, so she's probably already conditioned for that. Yeah, I just can't not pick her right here.
That's a great point. She's from Fort Collins.
Yeah.
That's a fucking great point, dude. I hadn't heard that all week, but yeah, you nailed that.
Yeah,
She
I'm going
definitely
Barber.
has a. I think, especially since I think cardio could probably play into this one if Barber isn't able to put her out via ground and pound early. Speaking of people being put out early, this is interesting. Well, so Beneil Dariush has been on a real weird run, and he makes me real nervous at this point.
Yeah, I agree. This guy's so talented, and he's had some fucking notable wins.
I guess we should just break down both of them. So why don't you jump into it?
Yeah, Beneil Dariush has a record of 14 wins, 4 losses, and 1 draw. He's based out of Kings MMA. He's 29. I thought he was older. Okay.
It's just Kings MMA 29.
Yeah.
And also, this is one of those moments remember when we talked about how fighters, it doesn't matter when you start, it's the time from when you start. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
Daniel Cormier started late, Ben Askren started late, dudes like that. But, like, it doesn't matter at what age you started. That is the time the clock starts ticking type shit.
Yeah. Last time we saw Beneil, he was knocked out viciously in 42 seconds to...
Holy shit, Beneil was born 2 days before I was.
Oh, nice.
He just noticed on his
At least you can't say I share a birthday with Cody Garbrandt like I do. Just kidding. I like you, Cody. Mostly.
Well, you know, sometimes you want to hang with the boy.
Yeah. Let's just... Never mind. I was going to say something else. I was going to allude to how he disabled all the comments on his Instagram. It's like, come on, dude. Anyways, Beneil Dariush got knocked the fuck out by upcoming hot start lightweight Alexander Hernandez, who I think has an amazing fight lined up.
And who caught him with maybe the cleanest punch I've seen in a while.
Before
that shit was so crisp.
Before that, Beneil fought to a draw against Evan Dunham. And before that, he got viciously knocked out via flying knee to Edson Barboza.
In a fight he was looking good in, too.
He was fighting very well in that fight. And Edson Barboza, man, like if I'm showing like my highlight reel for knockouts to people who don't watch MMA, aka casual fans, aka most McGregor fans.
Well done. I like it because it was you also got an AKA dug in there on accident. Dig in there on accident.
And honestly, a couple of casual Diaz fans. I'm just saying. Sorry.
Hey. To be fair,
I said casual Diaz
there
fans.
are some of
Remember
them,
I told you there's a motherfucker.
You mean fans of weed who are fans of
remember I told you there's a guy I met at Tap House who's like, bro, I'm telling you, you're wrong. Nate Diaz walks around at 2:15. I wanted to get up and walk out. Anyways, that's.
By the way, speaking of which, while we were off topic, did you see Shannon Sharp fucking drinking Hennessy and smoking
Black and Milds?
Black and Milds?
Because he's done that in the past. When did he do that? Again?
Yeah, he did it again, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, so can I send you an amazing video after we're done recording? It's going to make you laugh hysterically.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a reason why my main fantasy football team, the team name is Skip, and it's a picture of Shannon Sharp with a Black and Mild in his mouth.
It's beautiful. By the way, I got to give you props for having the best team name in our new league that we have going
Noah's dad.
Community. Yeah,
of course. And it's a picture of him hoisting Noah, just like how you can't see his face. Yeah, you know what that reminds me of? You remember the show Cow and Chicken? You can never see the parent's face? Yeah, that's Noah, because we're never going to see what he looks like.
Or Fairly Odd Parents?
Yeah, that too. And wait, was that in Fairly Odd Parents too?
I think they only did chest down.
I mean, there's an
Dexter?
evil babysitter.
Was there
no, Dexter had the parents for sure, because the dad was like super perverted and wanted coffee all the time.
Yep, I just heard from drunken girlfriend Karen in the background that she also said the dad at the same time you did. So, cool. Did we? Oh right, ground and pound.
And then sorry, I was. I just got sidetracked there.
No,
his
we
opponent,
both did.
We
I was trying to get back on this.
Yeah. So his opponent, we haven't even introduced. I'm disrespecting the Brazilian.
Thiago Moises.
Yeah, Thiago Moises. Record of 11-2. Last time we saw him, he defeated Glidson Cutis. I don't fucking know this dude's name.
I can't remember how to pronounce.
I sound like Bill Burr. Cutis. Now he goes Helix. In his podcast, if you're a listener. He also defeated Jeff Peterson via guillotine choke and LFA. So this is Moises' official UFC debut, not counting Dana White's Tuesday Night Contender Series. I mean, I feel like they almost kind of want to give Dariush a win based on that. No disrespect to Moises. Based on this is his debut, you know?
Yeah.
But he's a BJJ guy, clearly.
They've been doing the Dana White Tuesday Night Contender Series dudes dirty for a while, it seems like, in some of these matchups.
I just remember, I believe Dariush was an All-American or close to it.
Really?
In wrestling. Wasn't it him? Am I confusing with
really?
Else?
You might be right. I hadn't heard that.
Fuck.
Because he's Brazilian.
No, I'm talking
Isn't
about
he?
Beneil.
Yeah, isn't Beneil
No, dude,
Brazilian?
he's fucking Iranian. He fights out of Assyria, which is like I think is.
Oh,
one of those,
you're right. You're
it's
right.
Iran-
Because he trains with. I'm thinking because
Yeah.
he trains at Kings.
Yeah, no, yeah, he's Middle Eastern. He's Iranian. He was
I'm
born
just used
there.
to him training.
Yeah,
with
he was
all
born there and he was
Brazilians,
raised in the
yeah.
United States. I think he fought for the American like pre-Olympic team. I think he was like a crazy good wrestler if I remember.
You might be right.
He fought
You
for some
probably
sort of
are.
American grappling team. That's what I remember. He's an American for sure. He hasn't he sounds like an American. He doesn't have like an accent, like a foreigner
Yeah,
accent.
he's Iranian and American according to
he's like-
Wikipedia,
he's
which
like,
is the most accurate source because it knows Bert Kreischer is 53.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. What the fuck? So yeah, my prediction. Moving on to the prediction. I got Dariush by decision.
Yeah,
I don't think he's
going
gonna-
back and forth on this one. I'm really not confident in Dariush at this point after his last couple. Man, yeah, I gotta go Dariush. Because the way I gotta go Dariush. What was your method again? I'm sorry.
Decision.
I'm probably gonna go the same. Mostly because I don't know. I'm really nervous about where Dariush is at because of the notorious stories about King's MMA sparring. So I'm leaning Dariush, but I'm worried he might have been through some wars in the gym that could be catching up to him.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
and also Thiago Moises, like, he's been looking good, but he hasn't done anything that has blown the doors off for me. Like, he's looked good in his fights, and he dominated the shit out of Kudus in that Dana White Tuesday Contender Series fight. He also has been through EBI in the past, so he has very solid grappling and good hands. That's a big step up in competition from a Contender Series fight to Beneil Dariush. So I gotta go Beneil, especially at his age.
Yeah, 100% I agree.
Cool. Odds on that one. Did we do Macy Barber odds?
Yeah, I believe we did.
Okay, yeah, we said Macy Barber is a giant 460 or 450 favorite to a plus 325 ciphers. And then Beneil Dariush is a minus 155 favorite to a plus 125 Thiago Moises. Not super angry at that line. About makes sense to me.
Cool. So this next fight, I think it's gonna be very entertaining.
I do too.
We got Rocky
really
Pennington,
excited to see what this looks like.
and this is at bantamweight, not featherweight.
That's right.
Rocky Pennington
Both of their natural division.
going up.
Oh, I say that, but Raquel Pennington blew weight by 3 pounds, so maybe I should be more
So for those who
specific.
know who she's fighting the first ever UFC Women's Featherweight Champion, the Iron Lady, not Marina Moroz, but Jeraine Durandamy.
Yep.
Or Darren Dami. I don't know. Goddamn. Now UDNS. GDR. Whatever you want to say.
GDR.
Raquel Pennington. Last time we saw her fight. She has a record of 9-6. Her last fight was a championship bout against Amanda Nunes, where I don't want to be a dick and say she got fucking destroyed for 5 rounds.
Well,
but
she had that leg injury
Yeah.
not that far out from that fight, and then the first thing Amanda did was slam a calf kick home and start off the problem.
Yeah. I mean,
Like Rocky said, her calf was fucked from that moment on.
yeah. I remember she couldn't even stand on it like the later.
No, you can tell she didn't fight like herself at all.
No. Yeah. So wasn't 100%. It happens. It's unfortunate. We didn't get to see a 100% Rocky, but it's fine. I think she's 100% now. Jermaine Durandamy, however, has been gone for a year and a half. I remember
long time.
she was supposed to fight Cyborg.
No,
and then
2 years almost, dude.
She
It's
said
like-
she was supposed to fight Cyborg. She said, my hand hurts. I don't fucking know. And then they stripped her of the belt because they're just like,
Yep.
fuck that.
Supposed to fight Marion Renault. That never happened.
And then she
Just the hand
finished
injury.
becoming a police officer in the Netherlands, if I remember.
And also, she's training at AKA, according to
That's
Tapology.
kind of insane.
I don't know if that's true.
I have no idea.
Tapology's reporting that, but I'm not convinced.
If that is, that's very impressive.
'Cause I've heard nothing about that recently.
Yeah. I don't... If that's true, that kind of almost changes what I was thinking of picking. But
So my whole thing with this fight is, I'm not. I don't know what Rocky Pennington we're gonna see.
I'll just say this.
Because she blew weight,
instinctively,
especially.
My gut, I'm gonna pick GDR. I like her stand up. It's very crisp boxing. She's very tall, very lanky. She has good separation. Clinch isn't terrible. Granted, Holly Holm is not a wrestler, even though ironically,
Holly Holm has a very good clinch, though.
yeah, ironically,
she did-
her grappling
that's how
was very good against a tall opponent in Megan Anderson.
And her best moments in the fight against Chris Cyborg were in the clinch.
Yeah, I like Holly Holm how she's trending upward now. I mean, granted, Holly Holm's like 34 as well. She's a seasoned veteran. I feel like she's getting a lot better. Just don't, give her title shots right at the bat. That's how you improve Holly Holm. Just keep kind of giving her those, not tune-up fights, because Megan Anderson is not a tune-up fight in any sense. But just give her
and
those
also,
fights
hopefully,
against
she
other contenders.
engages every once in a while.
Yeah. So,
Good God.
Jermaine Durandamy is still very talented. I think I'm still going to pick her in this fight because, like you said before, we don't know what kind of Rocky we're going to get. Otherwise, if it was 100% healthy Rocky, I would like her to edge out GDR, despite the size difference.
What method you lean in?
I'm going to go decision just because Rocky's so tough.
Yeah, she's tough as nails. She almost went to a decision against fucking Amanda.
Yep.
Which is ridiculous for the amount of punishment she was
Slight
taking.
preview spoiler. I really like Amanda's odds against Cyborg.
I'm just saying, I think that fight's gonna be a lot more interesting than people think it will be.
Yeah.
People sleep on Amanda.
Hard.
She hits fucking hard, and
Not
her
as hard as
cardio and her
Cyborg, but
wrestling.
still, I don't think anyone
Right,
hits
but
it.
her cardio and her wrestling are very underrated.
Yeah.
Being at ATT,
Yep.
and Dean Thomas is working those two things with her because Dean Thomas is sharp as
one of the best
shit.
head coaches in the game.
One of my favorites for sure. Yeah, I've been going back and forth on this one this whole week with Raquel and Jermaine. I'm really kind of torn up about it. I like, if Rocky hadn't have blown weight, I had Rocky actually in fantasy MMA previously. I dropped her when she came in 3 pounds over because it just makes me nervous. Plus, she's been, like she said, she's been dealing with thyroid issues, and she's been recovering from the calf injury or the leg injury. So, but we haven't seen Jermaine Durandamy in fucking forever either. So I'm having a real hard time with this one. I'm gonna take. God, I gotta take Rocky.
Yeah.
I've been a Rocky
Who
fan
shouldn't have
forever. She, by the way, as far as I'm concerned, is 6-0. Or is on a 7-fight actual win streak prior to Amanda Nunes.
Oh, yeah,
I heard
'cause
she
she
won
beat
the
Holly Holm.
shit out of that Holly Holm fight, which I had money on, for the record. But I think she won the shit out of that fight because Holly Holm didn't do dick for the last round and a half, and Rocky consistently pressured and bombed on her. Yeah, I like Rocky a lot. I'm gonna go with her, but JDR, if JDR can get her hands working and can slam home kicks early to the legs of Rocky, it could be trouble for sure.
Yep. So, what are the odds on that fight?
Right. Rocky Pennington is a plus 170 underdog to a minus 210 Jermaine Durandamy.
Okay.
Sounds about right. I get why Rocky's an underdog, but also, what the fuck has Jermaine done to impress anybody lately? Like, they both are off pretty long layoffs.
I feel like
she
that
did beat
fight
Holly
against
Holm,
Holly
but
almost
like,
should have been a draw if he would have taken a point. It is.
well,
but-
that's the thing is like that Holly Holm fight. It was competitive as shit, but also they both fight in a way that, like, that was always going to be the outcome of that fight.
Yeah.
Like, one of them might have edged it over the other, but it was always going to look like that. Whereas Raquel Pennington will not have that fight with either of these girls ever.
Nope.
Like, she's going to bring the fucking pace to them and see who wins. Also, her conditioning generally is, like, pretty fucking good, and that in Denver also makes me nervous. Because I think that could play a big factor against Jermaine. But yeah, I'm going Rocky. I'm going to go decision, but I would not be surprised if she caught a weird funky sub like a bulldog choke or some shit.
I'd love to see it.
Because I believe she used to train out of Denver back in the day.
I think you're right.
Back before she hooked up with Tisha and was in Florida more. Pretty sure she's training at
I think you're right.
Elevation
that
or
sounds
one
right
of
to me.
those. Yeah.
Speaking of Elevation, more Colorado fighters. Next up, the co-main event of the evening, we have seasoned veteran Donald Cowboy Cerrone, who's back at welterweight, or staying at welterweight. I know he's coming down to lightweight again at some point. He has a pro record of 33 wins and 11 losses. He is a WC standout and UFC veteran. I think if he wins, will this be the UFC record? Isn't him and Bisping? It's between them two.
Something like that.
I think they're tied at 20.
I can never tell because Cerrone has a couple different, and I'm bad at those kinds of stats. But yeah, Cerrone has a couple different.
He's
stats
going up
all that.
against Platinum Mike Perry, who is how old is Cerrone? Cerrone is 35. Perry is 27.
Yep.
Just turned 27 recently. He's 5'10", fights out of Flint, Michigan. How tall is Cerrone? Oh yeah, he's 6'1". Yeah, he's more lanky. Perry is more or less a natural welterweight with his frame. Has a wrestler frame. Very big, stocky guy. Last time we saw Cowboy.
Keep on going with this.
Okay. He lost Leon Edwards in a unanimous decision, but going into this fight, Cowboy was very sick with the flu, I believe, if I remember correctly. Which, holy shit, good on you for staying in that fight, especially going to decision against a good striker and adaptive striker in Leon Edwards, the Brit.
All right, I'm back. Sorry, I was grabbing a delicious beer that I'll talk about in a second, but keep going.
Before that, he had a win over Yancy Medeiros when he knocked him out at the very end of the first round. And before that, he was on a 2-fight skid against Darren Till and Robbie Lawler. A fight that some argued he might have edged out Lawler. That was a close fight. So, Cowboy's down to fight fucking anybody. Mike Perry, last time I saw him in person, win a split decision over Paul Felder, a fight in which Paul Felder, who's a
that's right, you were in the building.
Yeah, that was a fun fight. He's a massive fucking
when he broke his whole shit.
Broke his fucking arm, and edged out a split decision win over Mike Perry. Mike Perry is still kind of raw. And he's a street fighter, and he's a brawler, more or less, and kind of how he approaches his fights. I've noticed his clinch game has really improved, especially in a fight against Ellenberger. In the Ponzinibbio fight, he lost unanimously. He got just outpointed and beat up in volume, because Ponzinibbio is one of the better kind of volume strikers. He's kind of like a Rafael dos Anjos. Like, he'll pressure you against the cage and start unloading, especially with shots to the body. And then kind of going up over the top with the right. Max Griffin, that was one of those fights where he dropped Perry multiple times. He was just outclassed. He just looked off, I think, in that fight. I think of Mike Perry. So, this is the thing I'm getting at. Mike Perry is at Jackson Wink now, which is really important for him, I think. I think that's the camp he needs to be at to really turn his game around. Donald Cerrone is not at Jackson Wink anymore, right? Am I wrong?
Correct. He's over. He's back at the BMF Ranch with. I believe he's training with Yair for this camp, along with a couple other dudes. I can't remember which ones were there at the time.
This is a fun fight.
Somebody else on this card, I believe, is there, but I forget who.
So, I really want to pick Cowboy based on he's better than Perry in striking in general, pretty much everywhere. But Perry's got that big fucking power.
And explosiveness.
Yeah, I don't know. I really just see him knocking out Cowboy, and just calling out someone. It's
hard to argue
ridiculous.
with it.
And you know what? I'm gonna go with that. As much as I like Cowboy, I think Perry clips him hard in the clinch. I don't know. That's what I see happening. I don't think Cowboy's knocking out Mike. I think if Cowboy wins, he just puts on a striking clinch and it goes to the unanimous decision, considering it's a 3-round fight.
Right.
But I got Perry by knockout, man, round 3. Or TKO. I'll call it TKO. He'll get him.
Wow, round 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm having trouble debating that, although I definitely don't think it'll be round 3. Although I am going to open this here while I talk about this shit. This is, by the way, I'm opening a 3 Magnets Brewing Company Citra Simcoe Amarillo Oatmeal Pale Ale, which is another type of hazy. The liquor store I went to had a bunch of hazy. I mentioned to the dude, yeah, I kind of like hazies, but I like everything. I've been seeing a lot of hazies lately. He's like, oh, let me talk to you for 10 minutes about hazy beers. It's like, all right, bro. Well, I'll haze the shit out of this episode. So, thing I'm nervous about is this is an elevation, and Mike Perry will look like shit in the third round.
That's a very good point as well.
So, I'm nervous about Mike Perry's going to come out like he's on fire, and it's going to be a matter of how many hooks to the liver and knees does he throw to the body in the first round, I think is what this comes down to. That's what I'm most nervous about, because I want to lean Cerrone in this. I think Cerrone can keep a pace longer at altitude and will be better from the outside. The problem is Perry's going to pressure him. He's going to step in past this range, and he's going to try and clinch up and make it weird and ugly in a Mike Perry fight and throw fucking murder hooks and elbows off the clinch. I don't know whether Mike is going to swipe the body. If he does, I think he takes this fight. Like if Mike steps in with nasty hooks to the body and knees in the clinch against the cage against Donald, I think he takes this pretty easy. I just don't know whether I can commit to him actually doing that, or whether he's just going to try and like go out there and trade punches in exchanges with Cowboy because he likes Cowboy. And if that's the case, I think Cowboy head kicks him in the goddamn face.
Yep.
So yeah, I guess I'm gonna take Perry TKO round 2. I guess, but like I really like Cowboy in the either by like I like him to either Yancy Medeiros the shit out of Mike Perry, or I like him via like TKO third when Mike Perry has nothing left and Cowboy's just hitting tech and combos from the outside. But I'll lean Perry in like the first 10 seconds of the second round.
Okay, yeah, I can see that too.
Just because Mike Perry's going to, even if he gets outworked in the first round, he's going to come out in the second round on fucking fire like a crazy person again. And Donald has trouble with that shit. And if he at all works combos to the body, I feel like it's going to be a problem.
Yep.
But not at all confident. Let's see. Odds on that one.
Oh, can I guess?
Sure.
Cowboy minus 210.
Mike Perry minus 205.
Okay.
Cowboy plus 165.
Okay. Probably because it's at welterweight.
And because Cowboy is on a rough skid.
Yeah.
Which he's not really, but on paper.
Yep.
It's not.
So
like he had a couple rough fights, so.
This is fantastic.
I love this next fight. By the way, can we all just acknowledge that Chan Sung Jung is everyone's favorite fighter? Because he should be.
I mean,
he's not your
pretty
favorite
much
fighter.
all Korean fighters, dude. I mean, have you seen fucking...
I fucks with Korean fighters,
Have you seen Do Ho Choi?
Fucking Chami, fucking...
And both Kims?
Chami John, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that her name?
Yeah. But just look at Chan Sung Jung's picture on Tapology if you haven't already. It's fantastic.
Oh, 100%. Duho Choi?
Yeah.
Like, all fucking just straight up madmen when it comes to fighting, including Chan Mi Jung.
So, Korean Zombie, the veteran, 14 wins, 4 losses. Originally was slated to fight Frankie Edgar, but Frankie Edgar got hurt, unfortunately. So now he's fighting, still rising. He's not really a prospect anymore, but just improving, I guess. I mean, this guy's only gonna get
Notable,
better.
yeah.
He's a notable fighter. He's good for Mexican MMA. Yair Rodriguez, El Pantera, record of 10-2. He's 26 years old. Yair is. I can't remember if he's fighting out of Chicago anymore. I don't think he is.
He's been moving around a lot. He was at Alphabet for a little bit too, but he's gone from there too. He was you know what? For this fight, for this fight though, he was at Donald Cerrone's camp.
Okay.
Cerrone talked about it on John Morgan's podcast.
Okay. Korean Zombie's 31. I know he was in the military for 2 years, so like his fight age.
5.
Or 5. Oh, wow, he's okay. He was dude, it's weird. I feel like the last time I saw this dude fight is when he knocked out was it Bermudez?
Yep.
Oh, it was. Because before that it was Aldo.
February last year.
Oh wow, he's gone for 4 fucking years. Wow.
Well, and it's almost 2 years since his last fight against Bermudez.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, he had an injury.
That's the big question. Well,
Lamas Edgar.
Yes.
There's injuries that have plagued him.
Yeah, it was that. Well, his injury recently, but the military time was the big gap.
Yeah.
That's what makes this fight interesting. Is Yair's been off because of contract disputes. Korean TKZ has been off because of military service and then an injury. So it's gonna be a big display for either one of these dudes, depending on how they show up. Like, nobody doesn't get a big push after this fight. One of these motherfuckers is about to get a big ass push.
Yeah. Fuck, I need to watch more tape on Zombie, dude. I know he's really good in the clinch and he has really good inside dirty boxing. So you're the fucking uppercut in the short
he
leg.
is, but he is just goes to war on the feet.
Yeah.
And then on the ground, he is slick as shit. He also is the owner of the only twister in the UFC against Leonard Garcia in their rematch in WEC. He's nasty as shit on the ground.
I know Yair Rodriguez, he is a taekwondo and kickboxing specialist. More or less taekwondo with this crazy fucking Tekken looking spinning shit. Wow, see, last time he fought was May
He got
of 2017.
housed against Frankie Edgar.
Yeah, but then again, injury has plagued Yair as well. Was he injured?
Yeah, but he got housed against Frankie.
that was just a welcome to the show kind of fight.
Well, he just got out grappled and ground and pounded for a lot.
Yeah, and he had that big fucking hematoma.
Fucked up, yeah.
In his eye. He was supposed to fight the Beast, right? And then was it an injury?
Couple times. Twice.
One of them was like a contract dispute, and then he got released and then re-signed, and like, what the fuck is going on?
It was real shady.
Yeah. This is interesting. I don't really know what I think I'm gonna lean Zombie just because it's short notice for Yair. Yeah, I'm gonna go Zombie. I think this goes to a decision. I think this could be.
Oh my god! Really?
I think. No, I don't know.
You think they're doing 5 rounds at elevation and Yair's on short notice?
Yeah, no, you can't. You just can't. I guess no, you can't. Yeah, that's too much. It's too much logic in that.
Well, and also they're gonna throw like madmen for the first 2 rounds.
Yeah.
Like if they go to decision, this is maybe the best fight in history.
Ever. Yeah. Good point.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. I'm going Korean Zombie. He's gonna get a TKO, so like he'll drop him and then just finish him on the ground.
You got a round on that?
I'm gonna go round 3.
Third. That makes sense.
What say you?
The height or the elevation is the thing that I can't ignore in this fight. That and the fact that Yair is taking this on late notice, and Chan Sung Jung, even though he doesn't implement it that often, has a very solid top game, which is what crushed Yair Rodriguez. So I'm going to go Chan Sung Jung via decision. I'm just kidding. I'm not going decision. I'm going TKO in a second. I think Yair is going to get... Go ahead. I think Yair is going to have some decent trouble early on, and I think the pressure and volume Chan Sung Jung puts on him with enough clinch and takedown exchanges, I think it's going to be a big problem for Yair in the long run. So I think TKZ wears him out like a lot in the first, comes out on fire again in the second, and just outworks him to a volume finish.
Yeah, I like it.
Let's see. So on the fight odds for this, Yair Rodriguez on Bovada is a -110 underdog to a -120 Chan Sung Jung. That is pretty much dead even odds.
Yeah.
Like, some of these books have it leaning slightly one way, some of them have it leaning slightly the other, but they're all pretty even. I think, yeah, it seems pretty even across the board. I think it's going to be a great fight either way. But the late notice and the elevation really makes me lean again towards Zombie over Yair.
I think, yeah. You just can't ignore that. I know I'm kind of at a loss for words, but I feel like it's pretty simply put.
I mean, yeah, especially since Yair just got out-grappled and gassed hard against Frankie.
However, if Yair is going to win this, I think he's going to catch him with like some high switch kick jump shit like he did against Andre Fili a couple years back.
For sure, and Chan Sung Jung got caught by... I always forget. George Roop. He got caught by George Roop on that head kick that George Roop threw. I believe it was a left hand and a left high kick, if I remember right. Or maybe it was I think that's what it was. Anyway, he threw one of those things where you throw the punch and you throw the kick behind it, and he clipped TKZ with it and dropped him, was able to finish him. So, dude's always susceptible to head kicks. He rolls with punches really well, but that doesn't mean you roll with head kicks well, you know?
Yep.
Cool. Well, we will go ahead and wrap this here. I'm excited for the card tomorrow, and then we will be back next week on... What day? Friday, probably?
Yeah, it should be Friday.
Yeah. So we'll be back then to talk about whatever the fuck card that is, because I don't remember off the top of my head.
Let me tell you right meow. That is Neil Magny versus Santiago Ponzinibbio.
That should be a fun fight.
Yeah. Should be interesting.
Cool. Well, we will be back for that. In the meantime, you guys, did not mean to bang the mic. Although I'm going to be banging it after we get off the air. If you guys ever need to get in touch with me, you can always hit us up. sovpod@gmail.com, christhesoundofviolence.com, tsovpod on Twitter. We've been pretty active on Twitter. If you ever want to like chat with us and shit, we're always on there. Or you can jump on the MMA community forums and hang out with us there. Because
forums that I haven't been on in a while.
True. Although you are participating at least in some of the fantasy MMA stuff from it.
Well, you know me, I'm a fantasy kind of junkie. That anything that involves like just some sort of pride and I'm
That's
better
right.
than you at fucking.
Chris is a big fan of
stuff in
pride
sports.
and fantasy and unicorns. Those are the three things Chris is
And
a
don't
fan.
forget the Loch Ness Monster and my personal favorite, Man Bear Peg.
100%. Anyway, you guys can hit us up. And in the meantime, also, if you can give us a rating on iTunes.
Hell yes,
good God,
please.
that would be helpful, because evidently we ain't cool enough on iTunes, according to iTunes. So go ahead and jump on that, and we're going to wrap this here. But hit us up, and until next time, Chris, you have anything else you want to add about this weekend?
Nope, except that I will be watching it on cable.
Perfect. Well, let's pray for Mike Perry to say nothing racist, and we'll be back next week. Go do something decadent. We out. Later.